Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very
much. Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Road to Tape Film crew, welcome to another episode, another edition of Road to Tape podcast with Manager Marty. I'm your host, Manager Marty. Welcome. Come on in, grab a seat. But before you grab a seat, please grab a plate because I have some food that I want to serve you. Some food for thought. I'm going to say a lot of things that most people will find controversial because everybody on YouTube, in the boxing community, and elsewhere knows that I'm an independent thinker. And the things that I speak on, the quotes, the statements that I publicly make are always thought-provoking. Things that are different from other content creators and members of the media in the YouTube space, in the boxing community, through the media, and elsewhere. You ain't gonna find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad that you are here. Let me just first start off by saying the link is pinned to the top of the chat to those of you that are watching live in living color. Feel free to join us. Doesn't matter if you agree with me or not. Does not matter if you like me or not. All perspectives are welcome. To those of you that are watching the replay of this live, I welcome you as well. We need answers. Enough with the hugs, handshakes, and Valentine's Day cards. Let's get into this weekend of boxing, shall we? First and foremost, I've published a video about, I would say, 45 minutes to 1 hour after the fights took place on Friday, May the 2nd in New York City. Ryan Garcia obviously was the main event versus Rolly Romero. Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. And of course, Tofimo Lopez defended his title against Arnold Barbosa Jr. And I told y'all then, and I'm going to tell you again now, because it's interesting to me that ever since I said it on Friday night, some people have the same thought process and or even repeating what they heard me say. And that is this. The card itself was disgusting. Now, I know that I might start controversy by saying that. And I don't mean to start controversy. Okay, I do mean to start controversy. What I'm basically getting at is these 6 professional boxers did not perform based on the level of expectations that most people had. I mean, I was told for a whole 2 months that Turki Al-Sheikh give the boxing community the fights that we all want to see. I'm still waiting on the fight that Turkey can produce that we all want to see. What I'm saying is that nobody asks to see Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez in the first place. I'm talking about months before the fight happened. No one asked Ryan Garcia to fight Rolly Ramirez, and the fans wasn't clamoring for that fight months ago. I haven't heard too many people even talk about Tofimo Lopez fighting Arnold Barbosa Jr. months ago. I said that in the beginning of the broadcast on Friday, before the fight. If any of you were here about 9 a.m. Eastern time in the morning. I told y'all that then. And now I can come out and say it again. Now, all I'm saying is this weekend, when it comes to the fights that we all witnessed, starting on Friday and ending last night, was disgusting. And I hate to say this because I love the sport of boxing. Everybody knows how much I love the sport of boxing and how much I love and am always actively involved in the business of boxing. But we have to keep it honest and be 100 like we always do on this channel. The whole entire card starting on Friday was disgusting. It was actually the worst card that I've actually seen, I don't even know, in many, many, many years. Seriously. I mean, I watched boxing as a boxing fan for years prior to entering into the business, prior to entering as an amateur, prior to entering on YouTube or in the YouTube boxing community. And I have to say this, and I have to be honest and tell you, this was the worst card. I'm talking about performance-wise. Let's be clear on that. Matchups too, but I thought this would be a little bit more entertaining than it was, based on the characters who were involved. But performance-wise, T.O. didn't do enough. Arnold Barbosa didn't do enough. Devin Haney didn't do enough. Jose Ramirez didn't do enough. Ryan Garcia didn't do enough. And neither did Rolly. But Rolly Romero, he did knock down Ryan Garcia. That was the most entertaining thing that happened in all 3 of these fights. That Rolly Romero knocked Ryan Garcia down. And speaking of Rolly Romero, I told you all about a phone booth on Friday morning, right here live in living color, and I have the tape queued up just in case someone tries to challenge me. That Rolly Romero's physique at the weigh-in was suspicious. I mean, the man always had power. But I ain't know he had that much power. I'm not accusing, hey, y'all better leave it alone because I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just trying to bring in a different perspective. Okay? That was the most entertaining thing that happened in my personal and professional opinion. Rolly Romero knocks Ryan Garcia down. Everything else on the entire card outside of that was disgusting. Atrocious. Let me start with T.O. versus Arnold Barbosa, and we're going to get right into it. I mean, I haven't seen that many missed punches in one fight combined by 2 professional boxers in a very long time. Seriously. I mean, neither T.O. or Arnold Barbosa, neither one of them have been stepping in with the jab to get closer to the target, to land the actual punch. It's nothing wrong with staying mid-range in boxing. But you have to take risks when you want to land punches on your target. And I haven't seen too much of that when it comes down to Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barbosa Jr. I mean, to be quite honest, and if you hear this somewhere else from any other content creator, what I'm about to say, you know they got it right from the horse's mouth, me. All three of these fights look like glorified sparring matches. I mean, what I'm saying is that all that trash Teofimo Lopez talked, we expected more out of his performance. All that trash Arnold Barbosa talked, we expected more out of his performance. I mean, according to Arnold Barbosa, I mean, he even told everybody at press conferences, at the weigh-in, in multiple interviews, all over the promotion of this fight, that he'd been waiting for like 12 years to fight Teofimo Lopez. I mean, that's what I heard him say. Okay? I mean, I'm just going by what I heard him say out of his mouth. He'd been waiting to fight Teofimo Lopez professionally for 12 whole years. I'm just saying that's what he said. And that's the best that he could do. And I'm only comparing it based on the hype. That this fight was in Teofimo Lopez's backyard. We know Teofimo is from Brooklyn, New York. We know that Teofimo has a huge fan base in New York City. We know this already. So our expectation for his performance levels were high before the fight even occurred. He did make an effort to compete, to land punches, to win. I give Teo credit for that. But this is why we can't go by hearsay in boxing. As I always quote myself, hearsay is heresy. Because we heard what Arnold said and we heard what Teo said weeks leading up to this fight. I mean, we saw them push. Listen, we saw them push each other at press conferences when they were facing off. I mean, quite frankly, the press conference when they were facing off against each other, to me, was more entertaining than the actual fight itself. That's all I'm saying, y'all. I know some people might get mad at me, but y'all be all right. Now, I'm going to stop the school bus right there because I want to address something else before we get to the next two fights. Number one, I received a text message and I have it right here. A few hours before the actual fights took place, before the card even started, a few hours beforehand. And I was told that there was things going on behind the scenes. And there was a switch up in the order of the fights. From the same reliable source that I communicated and corresponded with early Friday morning. And Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez actually came out second on the card. Yes, we know already that Devin Haney was on the undercard. We already know that. But I'm saying that because of the public statement that I made on Friday morning. If you was not here, you want to hear exactly what I said about that, go back and watch the previous live that I did on Friday. But those of you that were here, you know exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay? Second thing I want to address. Jim Lampley and Sergio Mora. And I've said this about Sergio Mora several times. in the past. I'm going to say it again now. Their commentary was atrocious. I love Jim Lampley. I was actually glad to hear his voice for the first time since, and I'm talking about commentating. Let me be clear. I'm not talking about in interviews. I'm talking about since HBO closed their doors. And I appreciate the contributions that Jim Lampley have made in this sport, seriously. But what was Jim Lampley talking about? I mean, I spoke on this on a video I did and published on Friday, literally an hour after the entire card was over on Friday. I'm going to say it again right now. Jim Lampley was bringing up words that Ryan Garcia said about Victor Conte and the accusations that Ryan made about Victor Conte and Snack. Now, I'm not saying he shouldn't have spoke on it. What I'm saying is that disappointed me is that he spoke on it at the wrong time. What I'm saying is that he spoke on that not when Ryan Garcia was fighting. He spoke on that when Devin Haney was fighting Jose Ramirez, and he mentioned it in the 10th and the 11th round. And I'm trying to figure out, why would you talk about that publicly? Then, when it takes away the excitement, the anticipation, the color commentating that should be going on for the listening audience, where the only two boxers that should be talked about during that time was the two boxers that was actively competing in the ring. So it stole the shine, the spotlight away from Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez. See, I'm giving you perspectives that most people don't think about. And that's okay because I've been doing this for a long time. So I just think that they could have did a better job with the commentating. Seriously. I mean, Tarver did all right. He did all right. But I didn't like the fact that they were bringing up things about Victor Conte and Snack, and that actually gave him promotion. That actually gave him a little credit, a little credence, a little shine. Because they were basically making it appear as if Ryan Garcia was pulling things out of the air. When I know for a fact that Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, the rest of the boxers, and others have watched my content, and I'm including content creators, and who have repeated my talking points and have repeated things that they've learned only from right here, based on the 15 plus years of investigative research I've conducted of Victor Conte, Snack, Alex Ariza, and even Memo Heredia. But at the same time, it was about the timing. See, that's where I'm getting at with this, y'all. Oh my God, the viewership is increasing exponentially. It was about the timing. I'll go another step further. When Ryan Garcia was competing with Rolly Romero, midway through the fight and beyond, Sergio Mora and Jim Lampley used that same card again, but only this time, they start giving the spotlight to a narrative about Derrick James. We know Derrick James trained Ryan Garcia for this fight, but we don't want to hear about the trainer. We want you color commentators and analysts to analyze and commentate on what you see in the ring right now for the listening audience. What did they say about Derrick James? Well, they made a reference. Go back and watch the tape. They made a reference, starting with Jim Lampley. He started it off first. You know what he said? Hey, man, if Ryan Garcia lose, because he looked like he's losing in my eyes. If Ryan Garcia lose, this would be another fighter that loses that was being trained by Derrick James. Watch the example that he gave. Because, you know, 2023, Derrick James, he was training Errol Spence, and Terrence Crawford basically demolished Errol Spence. Jim Lampley, if Ryan Garcia lose, how can you, with the experience that you have as a commentator, give more shine to the trainer during the time that the shine should be given to both athletes in the ring? Also, take it a step further, Ryan Garcia's performance, or even the lack thereof, depending on how you want to analyze it as a boxing fan, is the sole reason why he lost that fight. And you can't blame it on Derrick James, because Derrick James was giving Ryan Garcia sound advice, wisdom, and motivation in the corner. He was doing his job. So why would you then criticize the trainer? And then, watch this, talk about timing, at a time where Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero are actually competing in the ring, which means you took time away from commentating. It doesn't stop there. Sergio Mora piggybacks on Jim Lampley's point. Guess what Sergio Mora said? Oh, yeah, don't forget about what happened to Charlo. Yeah, Jamel Charlo was trained by Derrick James, and he lost to Canelo Alvarez. Think about a casual boxing fan listening to that commentating, listening to that commentary, listening to that narrative, listening to that analysis by these guys. You know what they're going to think? Oh, man, this guy, Derrick James, whoever he is, he's a terrible trainer. Everybody's always losing under him. Like Derrick James didn't win over 30 plus fights combined with Anthony Joshua, Errol Spence, and even Ryan Garcia. I'm talking about when they won under Derrick James. Y'all see my point? So that's the stuff that I look at. That's why I don't listen to the commentators when I watch boxing. I just don't. Shout out to all the ladies that's here. We have ladies in the chat. And I want to say this right now to all the ladies watching. I stopped my show for y'all. I will interrupt a talking point to acknowledge every woman that's in the live chat right now. To acknowledge every woman that's watching live and living color. To publicly acknowledge every woman that's watching the replay of this live. And I know Cash Crypto is in the building because he always says, Mac Marty. Don't start no drama, Cash. All I'm saying is to all the ladies out there, Manager Marty mean this from the bottom of my heart. To each and every last one of you ladies, thank you for your support, for your viewership, and for your contribution, including monetarily speaking. Here on this channel, on this platform, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. You ain't going to find no other content creator that will publicly acknowledge the women, but I will, because everybody knows I'm a trailblazer here on YouTube, in the boxing community, and off of YouTube. But the bottom line is, I just want to publicly acknowledge every woman that have contributed your time and your monetary resources, and even your perspectives in the comment section and the live chat, including today. And I want to say thank you so much. Thank you very much. We have somebody in the background. The initials are B and H. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I wish it was Bill Haney too. But unfortunately, Bill Haney, the gangster, the street ninja, as he called himself, the man who's undefeated in the streets at 50-0, he just won't click the link to come up here and talk to me directly. So I'm not talking about Bill Haney. It's another character by the name of B and H. And I did tell him to come on after the show. But hold on, BH. You got to wait 1 second. We didn't even get to your boy Devin yet. We're going to get to him in just 1 second. Now, before we get to Devin, let's get down to this other point I wanted to bring up. Who made Mike Coppinger an unofficial? I'm so sick of this. Who made Mike Coppinger an unofficial judge? Who made Jim Lampley an unofficial judge? Who made Sergio Mora an unofficial judge? Who made Antonio Tarver an unofficial judge? I'm just asking. Who made Chris Mannix an unofficial judge? I'm just asking. It sounds highly official. Listen, right? It sounds highly offensive to me when I hear these quote unquote unofficial judges create these scorecards that the networks and platforms, streaming platforms, produce on the screen because it gives a false perspective, and it also robs the fans, right, of genuinely learning about what's actually happening inside of an actual professional boxing match to teach the casual and the hardcore boxing fan what you are looking at. The reason why it's offensive to myself is because I actually have been certified. Most of you know this, and I'm glad we have a new audience here that's with us right now, live in living color. And you might not know it, so I'm going to educate you on this part. I am certified as an official, as a judge and a referee in boxing. So I've been trained to know what to look for and how to score rounds and how to score entire cards and entire bouts and use the judging criteria to accurately do so objectively. So when I see these reporters like Chris Mannix and Mike Coppinger arbitrarily have these unofficial scorecards and they do not have any training, no expertise, experience, or knowledge of the sport, nor do they know what to look for, and they're not even using the four measures of the judging criteria. They putting these scorecards on the screen and making up these scorecards, and guess what the fan doesn't know? The fans don't know what they were looking at. What criteria are these guys using with no experience? And guess what happens when they put up scorecards? Not just those two, all of them do it. Had no training, but it's acceptable, right? And guess what? They put up there, oh, this person won this round, in my opinion. But Jim Lampley, you're supposed to be commentating, not judging. Antonio Tarver, you're supposed to be commentating, not judging. Sergio Mora, you're supposed to be commentating, not judging. Just tell us what we see and why we see it happening. We don't need to hear your opinion of who you think winning the fight. That's not your job. Because guess what it does? It sets up a narrative based on an unofficial scorecard that, hey, this fight is closer than we think it is. Hey, this fighter right here in the 6th round, he's winning the fight or she's winning the fight because they're looking at an unofficial scorecard by somebody that's not even using the scoring criteria that the actual judges use at the time they're scoring these rounds. And most of the time, these reporters and commentators are what? Biased. Shout out to my boy, Balls Hog Boxing in the building. That's my guy. Salute, double salute to all of the members of the channel and supervisors of the Road to Tape film crew that's watching live in living color and even participate in the chat. That's all I'm saying. So if I come out the next day, based on my experience, based on my knowledge of judging and being trained and being certified, right? I'm more credible But because I'm so honest and controversial, somebody will look at it and say, "Oh, Manager Marty, you hating," because they're comparing my scorecards that I might come out and speak on publicly to an unofficial scorecard by somebody who hasn't even been trained and certified to do it, but it's become acceptable. Just like Victor Conti, not trained as a medical professional, but if he comes out and tell you that he's taking these boxers' blood and testing their blood and making evaluations of their blood testing results and making recommendations based on the blood testing results and even diagnosing these professional boxers based on their blood testing results. You know what people will come on my panels and say? You know what people have emailed me and said? You know what some people have said in the live chat? You know what some people have said to me in my comment section? You don't need to be certified to do none of that. You don't need to be certified. Victor Conti don't have to be certified. He don't have to be trained to do that. He don't need a license for that. But here it is. Manager Marty has a license. Manager Marty has training. Manager Marty has certifications, but yet people will undermine my expertise because they don't like me. And they will insult me. Isn't that backwards, y'all? Does that make any sense? I'm just asking the question. Don't get mad at me. That's all. Now, let's get back to the next fight. BH is still in the back. He can wait. I'm going to let him on. I'm talking about Boxing Hacker. Matter of fact, I'm going to let him on now before we get to Devin Haney versus Ramirez, because we're about to talk about that now. Before we get to Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero, let me let Boxing Hack on. See what's going on.
Yo, what's up, man? Jamari, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Boxing Hacker? How are you today, man?
I'm good, brother. You told me if after fights will I show up, and I did, right? I kept my word. You also
kept
said
your word.
that
You're here.
Yes, I am. You also said that Devin Haney was going to be the undercard of an undercard. Were you correct or were you incorrect? I want to hear this.
Well, when I said it, I was correct. But did you hear me just say that? I don't know if you heard this before you came on, because I can reiterate it. Did you hear me say that I received a text message from the same reliable source, and I won't say that person's name, but I will tell you the position they hold. They are the person who is a professional licensed inspector in multiple states in the country of the United States of America. Actually texted me a few hours before the show and told me that there were things happening behind the scene where they had to rearrange the card. Did you hear me say that part?
So no, I didn't.
No, I'm just asking the question.
No, I didn't hear it. So I didn't hear you say it prior.
Oh, okay. That's what.
But let's keep it. I'm not saying whether you have unknown sources that change the story or not. I'm
need
saying
to have sources.
What you told me 2 days ago, was it correct or incorrect based on what happened? I don't need to know the background story of did something change or something didn't.
Well,
change.
you do need to wait a minute.
Just say was it true or false?
You do. Wait a minute. At the time that was told to me, it was true.
How can it be true that if the event never happened yet? The event happened on Friday. We talked on, was it Thursday, right? The event, so you can't say it was true.
What are you talking about?
You told me that Devin Haney was going to be the undercard of Tofimo Lopez. That's what you told me. I don't even know what your unknown source is telling you. I don't need to know that. I'm asking you, was that statement true or false?
When I said it on, hold on, brother. When I said that on Friday morning, you were here Friday morning when I told you that, right?
It wasn't Friday morning. It was the day before. Or was it? Yeah, it was the day before, I think. Yeah.
You going to tell me when I said it?
Okay, I think it was it Friday morning?
Yeah.
Okay, Friday morning.
Friday morning.
Fine. Friday morning, sure.
Yeah, I told you on Friday morning what I said.
Yeah.
Okay. It was true at the time that I said that.
How can it be true if the event never happened? It's not true.
What do you mean the event never?
The event happened at nighttime, in the evening time, right? It happened starting at 5:30, 6 o'clock. We talked early. We talked before the event, so you can't claim that it's true.
Sir,
you can't claim that truth prior to the event. You told Manager Marty. You said if you told me. No. And I want the chat to be here to be my witness. You told me that Devin Haney was going to be Teofimo Lopez's undercard.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. That's what you told me, and you said
that was the plan from the very beginning.
And I said I don't think so. That's not what I'm hearing.
That was the hacker. Listen to me. That was the plan from the very beginning, sir.
Okay, but did it happen? So you can say that. You can say he has an unknown source, right? I don't need to know his position or his.
No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you his position so you can understand. I have credibility. You know
I still don't know who it's unknown to me.
But hacker, I'm doing that for a reason. I want you to. I'm glad you came up here because I don't duck anything. The reason why I'm saying it now is because I came out publicly. I made a statement on Friday morning, many hours, literally 8 hours before the event occurred. Now, this is what I love about you coming up here. When I was right 1,000 times before this fight, did you come up here and say, Manager Marty, you were right?
Let's not deflect, Manager
No.
Okay, before we get to that part, let's not deflect. Just answer one question.
Listen to me.
Was your statement right or wrong?
Hacker, I've already answered that. The reason why I'm saying
that, you're saying something that doesn't make sense.
I'm not deflecting because I made the statement that there was a change before you got up here, but you just said that you didn't hear me say it, correct?
So I'm not asking.
Hear me say it,
you're talking about a conversation between you and some unknown source. I'm asking you what happened in the event.
Boxing hacker, did you hear me say what happened a few hours before the event actually started? The text message I received. Did you hear me say that?
The text message you received. That something changed, right?
That is correct. Did you hear me say that?
I heard you say that, right? I'm not. Hey, whether you receive
what's the problem?
What's the problem? Whether you receive or not is irrelevant to me. My only question to you,
but it's not.
My only question to you, because this is
Boxing hacker. It's not about you.
You're ducking, bro. Listen.
No, Boxing hacker.
Ducking. You told me I was going to be scared to come to your channel afterwards, right?
Hacker.
I showed up. As soon as I saw your live, I showed up. I want you to
listen. I know why you here, but what I'm saying is, it's not about you. I didn't make that statement because of what you wanted to hear. I gave that statement to my audience because I came out publicly and I made a statement.
And your statement was incorrect. That's all you gotta say.
Bro,
it was incorrect. We don't need the backstory.
You do need the backstory
because
that's how I do things.
Any further,
bro. That's how I do things, bro. That's how I do things. If I make a public statement, telling you that something's going to occur at 5:00 p.m. And somebody text me at 2:13. I'm just using this as a reference. 2:13 in the p.m. And say what I told you before isn't going to happen because this and that and this and that A, B, C, and D just happened, and we have to change things up. And then I come out. Bro, I don't need a background choir. Listen to me. And I come out. The next time I go live and say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, I made a public statement Friday morning. But Friday afternoon, things changed. This is what I was told. You're telling me you don't need to hear that. But it ain't about you. It's about the audience members that also heard me make that statement.
This is a deal between me and you, Manager.
No, it wasn't.
Correct. No, listen.
Yes, it was. Listen, I made the statement. I made that statement.
What I'm saying.
I made the statement before you came up here Friday. What are you talking about?
Listen, so if you were correct, right?
Bro,
I would still came up here and say you were right.
Bro, it don't make a difference.
Your initial statement was wrong.
I know why you here. Boxing hacker. I know why you here. You only come up here to try to undermine my intelligence and my experience in this sport, and you can't do it.
Listen. No. Listen.
I know why you here.
Manager Marty, you don't want me.
I want to
admit the truth.
Hey, hacker, you ain't for the truth. I will admit the truth,
bro. Hacker. Anybody will tell you if I say I'm gonna do something, I'll do it. I'll admit the truth.
Listen, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you kept your word.
Listen, but here's my thing. Before we leave this topic, right?
No. Hold on, hacker.
There's not a reason why you're incorrect.
I want to stay on the topic. I want to stay on the topic.
Even if you said somebody told you that something different,
hacker.
I'm not leaving. But if you said somebody told you something different,
hold up, hacker.
Admit you were incorrect the first time. That's all you gotta do.
Hacker.
I just want to hear you say it.
Hacker, this is what this is why I love you coming up here. That's why I let you up, because I knew where you were going. Check this out. It's funny to me that, let's just say, right? Because you know I'm human, right?
Sure.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so I can make a public statement that I heard from a reliable source of mine, and then something changed. I didn't do a live. Wait, hold up. I didn't do a live 2 hours before the fight and say, hey, y'all, this is what's about to happen. It was a switch up. I came here on Sunday because I was going to do a live today anyway.
Okay.
And this is my first time making a public appearance.
Okay.
So that's why integrity tells me to make sure I let the audience know the backstory. That's what integrity tells me.
But
so
it
doesn't matter about, hold on, Hacker. It doesn't matter about whether I was right or wrong. What it matters is,
no, you were wrong. It's not about you being right or wrong. You were wrong.
What matters is, wait a minute. It's about, Hacker, stop cutting me off, man. Listen to me. It's about whether or not I'm going to have the same energy that I had when I made the public statement. I'm going to have the same integrity I had when I told y'all what sources told me. That's what it's really about. But since you said it's about me lying, or
it's not
me
about
being
you.
Wrong,
No. No, let me just say something, man.
I can't. See, here's the thing. I have to let him go, because one thing I won't do is be disrespected on my own channel. I shouldn't have to talk over my guests when I'm talking, and I'm not. Now that he's off, I want to freely put it out there and express this. If it's about me being right or wrong, the same one of you that come to me and say, Manager Marty, you were wrong, keep that same energy for the 1,000 times I was right. Y'all don't come up here and say, Manager Marty, I got to give you credit. You were right. Oh, but the minute that somebody tells me something's going to happen and then it don't happen, and then I come out and tell you what they told me and why it didn't happen, I'm still wrong. If you're going to give me a criticism, give me positive feedback too. That's all I'm saying. But you know what's crazy about all of that? When the integrity that I've been producing for the last 2 years that I've been on YouTube, it gets insulted and undermined, nobody stands up and take up for it. I didn't personally say, hey, I'm the one in control of the information that's being told to me. I didn't say that. Never once. I said a reliable source told me A, B, and C. And then within the next 6 hours, that same reliable source told me this is a switch up and a change, right? And then I come out and tell you all, hey, look, this is what was told to me by the same reliable source. It's not about whether I'm right or wrong in the message. I'm just a messenger. What would make me wrong if I didn't come back out here and tell you all, the same audience now, when something didn't happen, if I didn't show my face, if I didn't come out and say, hey, I was told this never happened, but this is what I was told why it didn't happen, then I would be wrong. I would be wrong then. That's all. The bottom line is, we know that Boxing Hacker, and this is why I let him come up, we know he wants my attention, so I give it to him. He jumps on panel after panel, platform after platform. I have asked Boxing Hacker numerous times specific questions, and he has been caught lying on numerous occasions. I got the tape, and don't make me find it because I will produce it. But now all of a sudden, because Brian, here's the thing, Devin Haney, okay, I said and a source told me that Devin Haney was going to come out in the first fight before Tio, but Tio came out after Devin. What difference does it make? Devin Haney was on the undercard. And guess what? From now on, he ain't got nobody else to fight, because he going to be on undercards of real superstars. Now, since we on Devin, we going to get right to him. Hey, Dean, stay right there in the background, big dog. I got you. I'm going to let you up. But now we're going to stay on Devin Haney now, because Devin Haney's career is over if he can't find a reputable opponent. You see, if everybody would have listened to Manager Marty 6 months ago, none of this would have happened. Because I told you all, and guess what? And you know I said it on my channel, so I own the content. Philly in the building, right? I said publicly that Ryan Garcia, who was coming off of a 1-year suspension, should fight Devin Haney, who was coming off of a 1-year, quote unquote, hiatus. But we know 8 months out of the 1 year, Devin Haney was suspended also. But nobody else broke the news but me. My point is, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney both were out of competition for 1 whole year. I told everybody before this fight was even announced that they should get back into the ring and have an immediate rematch based on them both being out for 1 year apiece. And a few months after I said that, it was announced that they both were fighting tune-ups. They both were fighting separate opponents. And guess what? The prerequisite was if these two fighters win, then they would be able to fight each other. Why would there be a stipulation if they just got finished fighting against each other? The only time that stipulation occurred in the past several years was between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Their fight was a draw. So we can see how, and at this point, y'all should know why there was 2 different fights that they had to compete in before they fought together. So the circumstances were different. Bottom line is, they didn't perform up to their level of expectations of other people. I mean, look at Devin Haney. The first thing I saw in Devin Haney, and I saw this within the first 30 seconds of the first round, myself, Devin Haney's legs looked bad to me. I don't know what it was in his movement throughout the duration of the fight. And it actually concerns me too. Because I'm not a hater. I give credit where it is due. All I'm saying is Devin Haney's legs didn't look right to me. To me, who's been around, who's been in that ring. I understand. What I saw from Devin Haney, his legs, while he was doing lateral movement on the balls of his feet, it concerns me. Thank you, Creole the Traveler. You ain't gonna find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad you're here. Devin Haney's legs look very, very, very concerning, man. Seriously. That's not even me throwing a shot. I'm very concerned with Devin Haney right now and his physical condition. Devin Haney was looking gun shy, in my opinion. Devin Haney landed some good shots, including the uppercut on the inside with Ramirez. But I didn't see him throw a lot of combinations. That concerned me. I was expecting Devin Haney to perform a little better than he did. And I'm going to tell you why. And then I'm going to let my man Deem come on. Because you ain't going to find this point that I'm about to make nowhere else either. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Listen now. People said Ryan Garcia looked different in this fight because of Ostarine. I'm going to get back to that point in a second. But I have a question on that. If it was Ostarine that allowed Ryan Garcia to underperform in this fight, then what was Devin Haney's problem? In other words, is Devin Haney performed better against a guy who had Ostarine and PEDs in his system than he did against Ramirez, who didn't have Ostarine and PEDs in his system. Can somebody help me understand that? Lord have mercy. I'm going to say it again for the people sitting in the back of the church, because you know it's Sunday and the preacher is always here on Sundays. If Ryan Garcia underperformed based on the fact that he didn't have Ostarine and PEDs in his system against Rolly, then how come Devin Haney performed worse in this fight against Ramirez, who didn't have Ostarine and PEDs in his system, than he did against Ryan Garcia? Because when Devin fought Ryan Garcia, a man who had Ostarine in his system, Devin Haney's performance looked intriguing. It looked entertaining. It looked much better when you compare this performance on Friday night to the last performance with Ryan Garcia. I wish somebody helped me understand that. Please. Hey, don't get mad at me. I'm just asking the question. Because y'all keep on saying that Devin Haney performed very well. What fight were y'all watching? Devin Haney had 15 trainers in his corner. He had his daddy, Bill Haney, and I know Bill's probably watching. He had Sugar Shane Mosley, Sr., and he had Nate Jones from the Mayweather gym in his corner. All these trainers in his corner. That was his best performance. All these trainers in his corner. He couldn't make any adjustments. All these trainers. Hey, P. Flame, let me ask the question again. Hey, Bill, quick question. If Ryan Garcia's performance that he had with Devin Haney was because of the octarine that was in his system, and now most people are saying because Ryan Garcia underperformed, it was because he didn't have octarine in his system, then my question becomes, then how can Devin Haney perform better against Ryan Garcia, who had octarine in his system, than he did against Jose Ramirez, who didn't have octarine in his system? Devin Haney looked worse than he did when he fought Ramirez on Friday than he did against Ryan Garcia. And everybody who knows boxing and got two eyes know that. That's all I'm saying. And you know what else? What was the point of hiring Sugar Shane Mosley if he was going to have to play number 2 and number 3 in the background as the trainer, and Bill Haney was going to still be the chief second and the head trainer during the fight? That's all I'm asking. Don't get mad at us. Hey, Dean, what up, big dog?
Yo, 007, what's the deal?
Man, I'm good, man. Just trying to crush the false narrative as always. What happened with Devin Haney last night? I mean, he looked better. He looked better against Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia had octarine in his system, and Ramirez didn't. What was up with that, bro?
Well, before I get to that, Manager Marty, when I came up here, it was something that you said. And you said, Boxing Hacker, you only come up here to undermine what I'm saying, which is true. Because what I really want to know is, where was everybody at when he was just up here just now, Manager Marty? Did he not give you your kudos because turkey's not good for boxing? He didn't had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 events, and probably 1 or 2 that has been successful. So before we even get to the Devin part, if you're gonna come up here with your chest poked out because Devin fought 1 fight after Tofimo, then please come up here with your chest poked out. Now that we hearing all of the stuff we hearing about Turkey from the New York Times, I don't even want to get into that stuff because that's nasty work, Manager Marty, with the New York Times. It's so funny how the boxing hackers and people like that can come up here and criticize people like me and yourself. But you don't see them saying nothing about what the New York Times said about Turkey is much worse than anything that we have ever said. You want to know why, Manager Marty? Because we had no idea of any of those type of things, okay? So that's one thing. So if you're going to come up here, please give Manager Marty his credit for the whole VADA thing, because he's had them all up here. Please give Manager Marty his credit. Oh, yeah, Boxing Hacker. Did you see Terrence Crawford last night or the night before last, whatever that was? And he was face-to-face with Canelo Alvarez. Now, I don't know if I got cataracts, Manager Marty, or not, but it looked like Bud Crawford was bigger than Canelo, and Canelo just got finished fighting. Now, y'all in the comments, tell me if I'm tripping. But it looked like to me, Terrence Crawford was bigger than Canelo Alvarez. Now, I don't know how that happens. When you just fought at 147, what, Manager Marty, not even a full, what, 600 days ago? We need answers. But to answer your question about the Devin thing, Devin exposed himself. His legs looked wary. Devin Haney was on his bicycle the whole time. The funny thing is, Devin Haney fans is very, very highly critical of Shakur Stevenson. You remember that, Manager Marty, when he fought De Los Santos? Do you remember that? They were saying, how dare y'all compare Shakur Stevenson to Devin Haney? Because remember, they was going through it. Remember, that was the fight right after the 75% thing. You remember this, right, Manager Marty?
Yeah, I remember people criticizing Shakur Stevenson for running the whole time against De Los Santos. The same thing Devin did Friday night.
And what's crazy about that is Devin was fighting a lesser opponent. Devin had much more time to prepare. And if you let Devin Haney fans say he got more experience, he's fought better competition, he should be better suited. So the same Devin fans that want to trash Ryan Garcia, I get it. What is y'all laughing for? Did Turkey look happy? Devin messed up his payday, Manager Marty. Let's talk about it. Devin is done. I want Devin Haney fans, frequent flyers, and the boxing hackers. Can y'all answer me a question? Do y'all think Turkey Aliki Ashiki was happy with that performance? Because that's all that matters. Because Eddie already told y'all about Devin. Oscar told y'all about Devin. Bob clearly told you about Devin when he was only willing to put up what, Manager Marty, for Sandra Martin, 1.2 million, 2.2, it was something like that. He clearly told you what he thought because he didn't even resign the man, if it's not under Bob's circumstances. So my question is to y'all, do y'all think Turkey was happy with that performance? Because where do he go now, Manager Marty?
Well,
would you go back to Eddie? Go ahead.
That's the question, that I was going to pose, because Devin Haney's performance, and I know people in the live chat is saying right now, a couple people I just read that where they said he got paid to do nothing. It was a good payday for him. Bottom line is, based on that performance, did his stock rise or did Devin Haney's stock drop based on that performance against a guy who was much older than him and less stronger than him? Because we gotta put this in proper perspective. I just asked the question on Thursday because Eddie Hearn was at the press conference sitting next to Devin. And he also was there at the weigh-in, and I'm still trying to get the answer. I wish Bill Haney was here. Why was Eddie Hearn at the press conference when Devin Haney was fighting Ryan Garcia? Remember, he was at the podium and he introduced Bill Haney to the podium? Okay. Why was Eddie Hearn sitting next to Devin Haney at the press conference for this fight against Ramirez? Why was Eddie Hearn on the stage at the time that Devin Haney came out at the weigh-in? And Devin Haney, before he took his shirt and everything off to get on the scales, he shook Eddie Hearn's hand. Why is Eddie Hearn there? I know why he's there. But we're waiting for Bill Haney and the rest of Devin Haney fans and the rest of these content creators to admit that there was a multi-fight deal between Devin and Eddie Hearn. Instead of keep going with the narrative, we are own bosses, having put on a show that was headlined by DHP yet since Devin Haney been out of the ring for 1 year. What's up with that? See, these are questions that I had. It's not that I'm hating. I'm a boxing manager. I'm in the business. These are things that should simultaneously happen when you are your own boss. The same thing that I was saying about Terrence Crawford when I first got on YouTube and got my own channel. Terrence Crawford, Instagram, November 2nd, 2022. He kept saying, I'm my own boss. I don't need no representation. Errol Spence got representation with Al Heyman. He needs to talk to Al Heyman. Al Heyman does the work. Wait a minute. But guess what? I was being criticized then. And guess what? I told Bud Crawford what he needed to do to secure the biggest fight of his life and his career with Errol Spence. And Terrence Crawford did everything that I told him that he needed to do through my YouTube channel. And I didn't see Boxing Hack or the rest of them come up here and say, Manager Marty, you were right. You know what's interesting about this, Demon? I'm going to get this super chat. People are saying, Ryan Garcia looked different. No Ostarine, no PEDs now. He underperformed because he looked different. When he fought Rolly, look at him. He looks different.
That's not why he lost, Manager Marty.
But that's what people, but Dean, that's what some people are saying. He looked different. It was because he didn't have the Ostarine. He looked different.
Manager Marty, let me say this before you get to the Super. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hold on, Dean. I got you. For the people that's saying that, right? Ryan Garcia, man, he looked different. Well, he lost because he looked different. I mean, he didn't have Ostarine in him. He just looked different. The way he performed against Rolly looked different. But when I told people that Terrence Crawford looked different when he fought Errol Spence, you know what people were saying, Dean? Oh, you a hater? You're mad because Errol Spence lost. You see how they do it? It can't. You listen. You can't have it both ways. I said Terrence Crawford looked different against Errol Spence, I said Terrence Crawford looked different against Sean Porter. And
they asked you for the proof, Manager Marty. So I just want to ask them, where's the proof of Ryan Garcia looking so much different? Where's they proof?
Yeah, I said Terrence Crawford looked different when he knocked out David Evanesian in 6 rounds, something he's never done in his entire career, never knocked out one opponent with 1 punch, period. I said he looked different. And you know what people said? You're a hater. You're just mad because this and you're mad because of that. Wait a minute. Y'all saying Ryan Garcia looked different, right? Oh, okay, then so how come when I say Terrence Crawford looked different against Spence and David Evanesian and Sean Porter, I'm the bad guy? I was wrong. You see my point, Dean?
No, man, I understand, Manager Marty. And the problem is that they don't understand is that I could just bump all of that. I knew they was going to say that, but then Devin fans don't think about stuff before they say it. Ryan Garcia looks like that against anybody who can punch. Didn't he get dropped with the same punch against Luke Campbell? Am I tripping, Manager Marty? Didn't he get dropped with that same punch? The only difference is he got back up and knocked Luke Campbell out. Didn't he get dropped versus Gervonta Davis with a hook to the face? Yeah. I'm just saying, when y'all sit up there and say that, no, Ryan Garcia was chinny before he even fought Devin Haney. What was the biggest thing on Ryan Garcia before he fought Devin Haney? What was his biggest criticism? He's chinny. So then he fights Rolly, who everybody know got bricks in his hand, and he gets dropped. Now y'all want to say, well, he got dropped because of the eye strain. Okay. But the problem is with that is, then was he on eye strain versus Gervonta Davis? Because then now you have to admit that he was on eye strain versus Gervonta Davis. Or against Luke Campbell. Or all of the rest, because when you want to blame it on PEDs, this is the part that people don't understand. They type in the chats, Manager Marty. I want people who think Conor Benn, everybody who thinks Conor Benn did what he did, right? I want to ask y'all a question. Do you think it started that fight? The fight he got court for uses of PEDs, do you think that it was just for that fight? Let me tell you how this works, and you go ask anybody, Olympians, football players, wrestlers, basketball players, whoever. Anybody that got popped for PEDs, they didn't just start using it that day or that time they got court for it. Just to put that out there. You think I'm lying, y'all? Devin fans, do you think I'm lying? Ask Victor Conti.
Yeah. Well, I do have another point. Alicia Baumgartner. She tested positive for a banned substance, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so when she tested positive for a banned substance, and it's unfortunate because there were a lot of content creators that were still taken up for it because they said she was pretty and she's attractive and they didn't want to speak on it. I did. But at the end of the day, my point is, though, the fight where she tested positive in, when she knocked the girl down in the 2nd round, the next fight that she fought in, how come nobody came out and said, Alicia Baumgartner looked different since she tested positive? She looked different in this fight. You see my point? People
they did that, Manager Marty, because she's with Devin Haney and Bill Haney's camp. That's why they made an excuse.
We can't do that in boxing. We have to uphold the same standard for all the fighters. That's the bottom line. We can't pick and choose when we want this standard to be upheld. You know another person that fought. I'm going to give y'all this. Remember Arthur Betterbeef when he tested positive for traces amounts
HGH.
Of HGH? Now, in his next performance, he looked different. And even in the performance against Bivol in his first fight with him, he looked different. But the point I'm making is, did any of these boxing fans and content creators come out and say, hey, man, Beterbiev look different since he tested positive in his last fight? We can't pick and choose when we want the rules to apply. I'm going to say this last point, and then I'm going to get the super chat, and then Mr. Greg is here. For all of you Devin Haney fans or Devin Haney YouTube boxing channel, because some of you are here now. That's why the viewership is increasing exponentially. I have a question for you. How do you know that Ryan Garcia looked poor in this performance against Rolly? Okay, let me reframe it this way. Why was you watching Ryan Garcia's fight in the first place? I'm talking about his actual fight against Rolly. Okay, y'all don't understand where I'm going at? Let me take it another step further. Why were you watching Tofimo Lopez fight? That still don't make you understand where I'm going? Let me take it another step further. If you're a black activist on YouTube in the boxing community, and you did videos after videos after videos criticizing Ryan Garcia and Tofimo Lopez as being racist against black people, why would you contribute your time watching these two racists fight? See, these are the questions I have. That's all I'm asking, because, Ryan Garcia is supposed to be racist, and so is Tofimo racist too. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, great. Both of these guys hate black people and they're racist because of their public statements. You know what Tofimo said? Monkeys and bananas. Even though another black guy, Bill Haney, called Tank Davis a monkey. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, why are y'all who's saying that these two guys were racist way before they even fought Friday, did videos on it, live content, everything, made money off of it and everything? Why did y'all watch them fighting if they're racist? Why give them your time? Why? They racist against black people. And you black? Why you watching them? And you watching the 12 rounds of T.O. and 12 rounds of Ryan. You watch 24 rounds of racists competing. Why? I just have a question. These are thoughts that I usually have. I just figured out to ask now.
Manager Marty, they in the comments saying you ain't holding them accountable, but where's the accountability for Devin Haney
Who I'm not holding accountable? Who?
They talking about Ryan and T.O.
I did
where's
videos
the accountability?
Hold up. I did videos on them. Let me tell y'all what I said, and I'm going to get to the super chat. If you black and you a boxing fan, if you black and you a content creator, and you use the N-I-G-G-A word, I don't want to hear you criticize Ryan Garcia. If you use the N-I-G-G-A word on your platform, I don't want to hear you criticize Tofimo Lopez. And I'm standing on that because you a hypocrite. You can't use the word if it's wrong, and neither can they. Double salute to Newt Warlock. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. I'm up. It's Sunday now, right? The preacher is here, so, I get to be in character as Manager Marty Luther King. Thank you for your contribution, Warlock. Warlock says in the super chat, let Hacker cook. We need both sides of the argument. Well, the problem with Hacker is he wasn't cooking. All he wanted to do was come up here and insult, undermine, cut me off. We're not doing that. Come up here with a real perspective. It's okay to say I'm wrong. It's cool. I don't have a problem with nobody saying I'm wrong. But the thing is, you're not going to come up here and say I'm wrong when I'm right, you don't come up here and say I'm right. Where they do that at? Not on this platform. Double salute to my guy. Mr. Greg, what's up, big dog? I'm on 10 right now. How you doing, Mr. Greg?
I'm listening to you. I see my man Deem up. What's going on with both of you all?
I'm doing great. My energy is on 100 because the air fryer is
How you doing, Mr. Greg?
What's going on, Dean? I'm glad that y'all awoke because the last two nights of fighting, was like taking Sominex. I don't understand what's going on with these, and I guess I'm going a little bit broader with these young guys and the way they're fighting these days. Now, I've said many times that that this generation of fighters are a lot softer and a lot weaker in many ways than fighters of the past eras. This weekend showed me that again, that Of all the fighters who showed up so far, the one who did the work that he should have done was the one that people expected the least of, which was Rolly. He came to win. He showed how he has improved over the last couple of fights, and he showed up this Friday and showed how well he was going to fight. I mean, no, he's not the most talented, but he was the most determined. He was the most to put it on the line when it counted. Ryan, I saw video of Ryan crying and about his loss and how devastated he was about it. But I'm wondering, why is he crying at all? You were in there; that was your time to perform, and he didn't. Soon as he got hit, which was always something that people have talked about, you touch him on his chin, Ryan starts to wilt. And I think to some degree that's what happened Friday too. He didn't want to get hurt. He didn't want to go out there and put it all on the line because it's not in him to do it. He's never done it as far as I'm concerned. And this was a time that he should have, and he didn't. Rolly, on the other hand, did. He knew there was something to gain. He knew there was something he needed to do, and he showed that he was worth watching that particular night. Going forward, let's see how he continues to fight. Hopefully, he continues to get better, because he has been improving, and I think that's a good thing. I think we should have looked for that. We were looking for that with Ryan, and we definitely were looking for it with Devin. As I've said before, again, Devin, even when he wins, he still loses. That was the most absurd way to fight. He brought in Shane, and I understand Mickey Bay was in the ring, was in the corner with him as well. I didn't really see Mickey Bay, but I didn't see Devin show us that what happened to him in the last fight with Ryan was just an anomaly. What I saw was Devin was just trying not to get hurt. Devin was trying not to get hit again. He was trying to, do it as much as he could to win a fight, but he didn't do anything, and who he was fighting didn't do much of anything as well. So that helped Devin win. I don't think Devin showed any improvement. I don't think Devin has really decided who he's going to be in the ring based on that last fight. That was just the most absurd thing. And then seeing Canelo. I mean, yes, the dude wasn't trying to engage with Canelo, but Canelo couldn't stop him. Canelo couldn't cut him off. Canelo couldn't get to him to show that he was who he's supposed to be either. So from my perspective, all of them failed to galvanize fight fans to help new fans watch. All of them just about, the star of boxing, the face of boxing, which is supposed to be Canelo. Waste of time. And I think Munguia, if you watch his fight, I mean, he had to win because he had already been knocked out by this guy before. So, he redeemed himself, if you really want to say did anything, and he contained himself with trying to engage. But the whole weekend so far, and I'm now wondering how Inouye is going to perform later on, but I hope he doesn't disappoint. But this weekend, I mean, we got the fights that we wanted, or we wanted to see fights, but we are perfectly correct to be disappointed by this whole fight card. This was just a big, to me, was a fiasco, if you ask me. If you were trying to show we're doing something different in the world of boxing, and we're going to try to revive it or make it even more popular, this was a big fiasco to me. Now, other people may see something different. Other people may say, boxing fans are never satisfied, and sometimes that's true. But I don't know who was satisfied this weekend. And if somebody was satisfied with the way these fights went and the way they performed, the fighters themselves, please correct me, because I didn't see any reason. If I'd never watched fights, I probably wouldn't be excited to watch fights again the next time one is shown.
Hey, Mr. Greg, I want to say this. I hear where you coming from, Mr. Greg. Devin ain't show no improvement. You can't show improvement when you ain't that good, Mr. Greg. What was he going to improve? His punching power? How you at 147 and you weaker? You're weaker at 147. Devin Haney's the first fighter in history I ever seen go up and be weaker. My thing is, Mr. Greg, he fought like that because he has no other choice. That's the way he has to fight to win fights. Devin Haney cannot fight a world-class fighter and go in there and go for the guts, though. He has no other choice. So I got to give Mr. Greg and Manager Marty some pushback on this because I've been watching. And what I've come to realize, if Shane Mosley, Mickey Bay, whoever can't help you improve, it's because the things that they're trying to help you improve on, you do not possess. Period. It's like trying to get Pitbull Cruz to learn how to box all of a sudden. It's just not going to happen. Okay?
I agree.
Devin Haney understands he is chinny. We've been seeing this prior to the Ryan. It's just Ryan was bigger than him. Devin looks like this, and nobody is talking about it because he is fighting people his size. That's why, Mr. Grant. I love you to death. Love Manager Marty. He can't improve. He has nowhere to go from here unless you get better. Because my thing is, y'all, he could throw more. He could learn how to do that, but then that means you have to engage, and then that means you're putting yourself at risk to get hit more. And Lord knows Devin Haney don't want to do that. Somebody that don't want to get hit is going to fight like that. We've been asking the same thing for Shakur Stevenson for a multitude of fights. They told you, Shakur said, I'm not letting nobody just hit me cleanly. It just is what it is. So, and then now they got to deal with the whole backlash, because just go look at YouTube. Y'all mad at Manager Marty, but not Fight Hype, not Fight Hub, not none of these other people that is killing Devin Haney right now. So when people was in the comments, Manager Marty talking about, well, at least he won, y'all the biggest hypocrites in the world, because Devin Haney fans, when Shakur Stevenson just won, y'all wasn't saying that. When Gervonta Davis had win after, Gervonta Davis was knocking people out when y'all wasn't giving them credit for that. Sorry. Did I hurt somebody's feelings?
Mm-hmm. There's two things I want to say, Dean. I don't think Devin Haney was the only fighter that moved up and their power and their power didn't translate with them, or they wasn't stronger. I think what's happening with Devin Haney's case is that, and by the way, they both weighed in at between 143 and 144 pounds. Let's be clear. This Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez both did not weigh in at the 147-pound limit. I just want us to be reminded of that. The other point I want to make with this is every time Devin Haney gets into a fight versus a person that's his actual size, I mean physically his size, they pose problems for him. Devin Haney's blueprint to success and the business model of the Haneys is to go in that ring and compete against older fighters in age that have smaller weight than them. It's very simple. As long as the fighter that they are competing against, as long as the fighter that Devin Haney's competing against is older than him with regards to their age and physically smaller than him with regards to the weight, he can perform at his best. But in the last two fights we saw, including the one on Friday, that Devin Haney cannot be competitive and look as good as he does when he's fighting guys that are his actual physical size. A second point I want to drive home. It don't matter who Devin Haney bring into the camp as a trainer. Let's say Sugar Shane Mosley, Sr. Let's say Mickey Bay. Let's say Nate Jones, right, who was with the Mayweather boxing gym. Let's say Yoel Judah, Zab Judah's father. These are all good trainers when we talk about their experience level in the sport of boxing. However, as long as Bill Haney is the chief second with the lavalier and microphone attached to his shirt or his vest, in that ring on the fight on the night of the fight, it's always going to be sabotaged because him being there, giving the instruction and motivation, is undermining the actual trainers who they're paying behind the scenes to be a part of the camp. And that's the actual truth of it all. So when I look at Devin and the way that he performed, who put that game plan together? If you look at how Barbosa beat Ramirez in Ramirez's last fight with Barbosa, that goes to show you right there that was an effective game plan. Devin Haney's game plan was to pot shot, stick and move against Ramirez. I'm just against a guy who lacks punching power. Why? Why would that be the game plan? And then when Devin Haney did land some good shots, including the uppercut straight up the middle, he didn't capitalize off of that with effective combinations. He was running first. As soon as the bell rung, ding, he started moving on the balls of his feet. And that's why in the first 30 seconds, I noticed his legs. And there's a concern that I have of Devin Haney. Seriously, a very sincere concern that I have of Devin Haney. Seriously. His legs do not look right to me. And I'm not saying that it wasn't because of the 1 year layoff. It don't matter what the reason is for. What I saw in my experience, personally and professionally in this sport, I am highly concerned of the legs of Devin Haney. I already knew that he didn't have the punching power that maybe like a Tank Davis had. We all know that. But punching power don't win fights either. So I don't just look at, whether Devin Haney knocks a fighter down or whether Devin Haney knocked a fighter out. He hasn't done that in many years. He did knock down Regis, but once again, Regis Prograis is a naturally smaller fighter who was older than him. That's the business model of the Haneys. I mean, that's not a knock on them. That's just a fact. And so they have to change their business model. But they won't change the business model for two reasons. Number one, they think it's been working for them. And number two, Bill Haney will never suck his pride up, swallow his pride, have humility, and learn the business of boxing. And that's why they keep going to promoter after promoter after promoter with their hand out, asking for stuff instead of producing like they claim they do as their own bosses with DHP Promotions.
Wouldn't you say that's their business model, Major?
Huh?
Wouldn't you say that's actually their business model then?
Yes, that is a part of their business model as well. Absolutely. But the problem I have with that, Mr. Greg and others, is that business model can only last but for so long. Because based on his performance, I'm only saying that because there's an old adage in boxing and people have been repeating it for over 30 years now, that you're only as good as your last fight. And I don't believe in that adage. But let's just keep that perspective when we talk about Devin Haney for right now. If he's only as good as his last fight, then who is he going to fight next? Who's going to generate him the biggest money opportunity based on his last performance? Because if he goes up to 147, and I'm talking about weighing in at 146 point something or 147 evenly, he can't compete with those guys that have power coming down from higher weights that compete at 147. I'm talking about competitively. It's going to be very difficult for him to do that. Even if he met a 140 pounder at a catch weight, like somebody like a Isaac Cruz, like somebody like a Gary Antoine Russell, like somebody like a Rayo. These guys who have been competing at this weight for a long time, they're going to give Devin Haney some problems based on their style. And so what I'm saying is, I want to see Devin succeed. But with that business model, they're running out of options. I know Devin Haney is still actively doing business with Eddie Hearn. I know that because I know the business. I don't care what Bill Haney says. Or we our own bosses, and I don't care about that. We saw Eddie Hearn at the press conference with Ryan Garcia for the Ryan Garcia fight. I asked then, well, then what is Eddie Hearn doing here for? Why is he introducing Bill Haney to the podium if they had a one-fight deal? You remember people were saying there was a one-fight deal for Devin Haney to fight Regis Prograis? Okay, so then what was he at the press conference for the Ryan Garcia fight? It doesn't stop there. He was at the press conference sitting next to Devin Haney for this fight on Friday. And the weigh-in. For what? So that goes to show you what it really is.
That's because the zone put on the fight, though, Marty.
The zone don't have nothing to do
that out.
The zone don't have nothing to do with Devin Haney, do it?
No, the zone put on that fight. Who we go through the battle fight? The zone.
Yes.
Okay, that's why he was there.
But what about the reason why Oscar De La Hoya was there then?
Because it was also promoted by Golden Boy Promotions as well as DHP.
Wasn't De La Okay, hold on. Let me be clear on something, Big Dose. Wasn't Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions company, wasn't they there to represent the fighters that they promote?
As well.
Right. So
as well as being a promoter on the card as well.
Huh?
As well as being a promoter on the card.
Right, but
as well as DHP was. That's what I'm saying.
You said DHP. You said DHP.
Yeah, Devin Haney Promotions was also a promoter on that card.
No, he's not.
Yes, he was.
Did you see?
They said it out through the announcement.
I'm gonna tell you why it's not. Devin Haney, DHP has never. Hold on, brother. You can't come up here and cut me off.
You trying to cut me off? You trying to cut me off, brother? I was talking.
One mic. We good, y'all.
No, he just came up here and said something that's just not true.
I was talking though. You trying to cut me off?
All right, hold on. Dean, let him finish. Go ahead, Big Dose. You got it, Big Dog, and then Dean can comment on what you said. It's all good. Go ahead, Big Dose.
They said it all throughout the promotions, DHP promotion, Golden Boy Promotions, as well as Eddie Hearn and them. So that's one thing. Another thing, Dean want to talk about Devin bringing up fighters from lower weight classes, and we know Tank.
I never even said that.
Yes, you did. Earlier.
I never said that up here. You're lying again.
Okay,
when did I say that?
All right. Anyway, Tank is the professional at bringing people up from lower weight classes to fight him.
How many people has he done that with since you know so much? Because I know how many people he done that with.
Santa Cruz. Hold on.
Leo Santa Cruz. No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not. He went down to fight Leo. He went down to fight Leo. No, he did not. So you're lying right there. Continue. I'm listening.
Hold on. I'm going through it right now. Fonseca.
Who?
Fonseca.
He got 30-something fights. Get to it. You said he does this all the time. You named one. Fonseca.
Yeah, he do.
So who else? If he does it all the time, it should be a multitude of people. It should be 10 plus, 5 plus. If you say all the time, do you know what words mean?
I do know what words
mean.
So
all the time means. So hold on. All the time means the majority of his fights, he pulled somebody up.
How many times have people brought people up to fight?
If what you're saying is true, that means that means 75% of the time he's bringing somebody up. If what you're saying is true,
and if he don't bring them up to fight him, he slapped.
Get to what you said because you lied.
Clauses on him.
Get to what you said. Devin Haney just was in a weight class. Devin Haney just had a weight clause in the catch weight. What are you talking about?
I can get to what I'm saying.
All right, I'm listening, but don't start lying because we got facts.
He don't want to fight nobody.
Don't start lying because we got facts. Get to it. Out of his 30-some-odd fights, name the fighters he brought up. You liar. Name the fighters he brought up, bro.
He thought he had a little.
So you rambling. You're rambling.
And Lamar Roach.
You're rambling because you lied. Name the fighters he brought up, smart guy.
And then he didn't even want to fight him again.
Now he's talking about what he didn't do. You said he did something. What is the fighters he brought up?
I just
said he does it all
if
the
he
time.
ain't bringing
So what's
him
the
up, he
fighter?
putting weight gain clauses on him.
Who did he put a weight gain clause on? Because you said he does that all the time.
Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia. Now you said he does it all the time. Name
I didn't
me
say he
more
do
than
that
Ryan
all the time.
Garcia.
I said if
you
you
got to
don't
give me 10 examples.
weight gain clauses on him.
Give me 10 examples.
Did it to Ryan Garcia?
Why
can't he fight somebody?
Hold on, Manager Marty.
Hold
Problem.
on. One mic. Hold. Let me say something real quick. I want to make sure that the viewership don't get lost in translation. Are we talking about Devin Haney or are we talking about Tank Davis?
He's rambling.
We're talking about both.
No, I want to get to this. Can you stop talking, sir? Can you stop talking?
Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Hold on. This is me talking. This is me. This is Manager Marty. Hold on. I love Tank Davis. I got love for Devin. But right now, we talking about the fights that happened over the weekend. We can talk about Tank later on. Let's get to the fights that happened this weekend.
Let's get to the one. Let's get to the one that just happened. Everybody ridiculed Devin when he tried to fight that Rock'em Sock'em style and he got caught. Everybody ridiculed him. They laughed at him. Now he's not doing it for them no more. He gonna go in there. He gonna win however he gotta win, and I don't blame him for that. Now, to be 100% honest, did I like the style? No, I didn't. But that's me being, because I could be honest. You know what I'm saying? But I understand why he fought that style, though.
What you mean? Against Ramirez?
Yeah.
Why did he do that against a guy who didn't have a lot of punching power, in your opinion?
He fought that style, I think, in getting preparation and getting prepared for Ryan Garcia. Because he knows he's going to have to move and avoid that left hook.
Can he do that? Can he do that game plan in sparring when he's fighting Ryan Garcia, though?
He can. But you know, like I know, sparring is not like a real fight. Martin.
I know, but it's for practice purposes. In other words, if a fighter is preparing to fight this fighter, they should be game planning for the fight that they're actually competing in. And when I'm talking about in the camp, sparring included. So you're saying that he's preparing for his training camp with Sugar Shane Mosley for Ryan Garcia and not Ramirez.
I think he's playing for both. I think he's playing for Ramirez and Ryan Garcia. But his main focus was on Ryan. And they wanted to see if they can implement that plan in the ring under the lights. That's what I think. Now,
but people were criticizing.
I don't know. Because I'm not in the camp.
I know, but people were criticizing Shakur Stevenson for fighting like that against De Los Santos.
And you heard what I said? Did I like the style? No, I didn't.
And that's the point.
But I understand why he did it.
Turkey don't like the style. He's preparing for a fight that he might not even get because he performed bad.
Do you agree?
He don't even know if he's going to fight Ryan Garcia next because of how trash that performance was. You can't go in there and be bored. Can I finish talking, sir?
Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Thank you. You can't go into fights and be boring and then expect to get other fights put on. This is my problem with boxing fans. That's if you talk about what at least he just won. Do y'all know how fights get put on? They rank the opponents that they want to see. So if they got a network, Amazon, DAZN, we like Canelo Alvarez. Why? Because he puts people in the seats. He's entertaining when he fights. Name me a fighter that's boring. That's going to be a pay-per-view star, going to hold boxing down. Y'all trash Tank and Canelo and people like that. But the problem is they are the ones who keep the sport afloat. People don't watch boxing. Even you, the person who says he didn't even like Devin's style. That's the point. So imagine if you don't like Devin. Let's say you're a casual fan and you just like boxing. When you turn that on, that's going to turn you off from it. So you could just go in there and win. Go in there and win, and you're going to be undercards. You're going to get talked about. You're going to get criticized. All wins are not created equal. They aren't.
Did you hear what you just said, though, Dean? The reason why we ain't getting it is because it's boring style. No, the reason why we ain't getting it is because Ryan lost.
No, that's not. First of all, that's not even all the way true. That's not even all the way true.
No, but guess what? But guess what? You just cooked yourself. You cooked yourself on that. You said because Ryan lost, but Ryan was going to be the A side. Why? If Ryan would have won, the fight would have still went on. Not because Devin Haney was amazing. It would have been because of Ryan Garcia. Now Ryan Garcia lost, the fight might not happen because of Ryan Garcia. The fight happening in the first place is because of Ryan Garcia, not Devin Haney.
You just said it first, though, Dean.
What are you talking about?
You said it wasn't happening because Devin was born. No, it ain't happening because Ryan lost.
No, you don't listen. You got a hard time of hearing. I'm noticing that about you.
I listen, but
okay, Kimbo, be quiet. You can't talk and listen at the same time. Thank you.
I do, bro.
You're still talking. You can't talk and listen at the same time, my guy. Thank you. Appreciate it. The fight even being interesting in the first place. Can I finish talking, sir? Can I finish talking, sir? Thank you. Thank you. You have zero. You can't control yourself, my guy. Are you okay?
No, you can't control.
Put the beer down. Put the beer down.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
I'm trying to finish what I'm saying. Put the beer down.
I don't drink, brother.
Okay. Well, if you don't drink, then you like that naturally. Lord have mercy. Can I finish speaking?
Yes, I am.
You're worse than a female. Can I finish talking?
All right,
you worse than a female.
I can't get a word out.
Guys, listen.
I bet you won't say it in my face.
I won't say it. Who won't say it in your face?
You won't.
Oh, okay.
All right, look, yo, chill.
I don't even want to talk. hey, sir, I'll be at all the fights. You can pull up on me. I'll be at all the fights. You can pull up on me. I'll be at all the fights. You can pull up on me. I'll be at all the fights.
You ain't show up the same side yet. You said
yo,
you gonna
chill. Yo. I listen.
Come on, bro. No! You on tan side, nigga. You ain't pull up yet, nigga. Shut up.
Hey, Lucky, hold on, Luck. Ho. I let both of those guys off for a second. I want those guys to cool off for a second. Remember, this is the Manager Marty show, right? I don't mind us going back and forth. I love that. It's good content, right? But at the same time, we all know I'm a professional, so I got to carry it a certain way. I got to carry it a little bit differently than I would if I was in a personal conversation with y'all, right?
Right.
At the same time, we have ladies in the chat, right? So we have to uphold a certain level of decorum as men, right? Not insulting each other and being too emotional. We have women here, right? So with that being said, I wanted to give those two guys an opportunity. I'm not kicking them off of the whole panel, right? I'm just giving those guys some time to breathe a little bit because I see it starting to take it past boxing. When I hear people say it to my face, when you see me, I'm from Philly, I know what those words mean, and so do Dean. He's also from Philly. I just want to make sure we clear. We're just talking boxing, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, okay? So let me get this double salute to Bland Lee. Thank you, Bland Lee, for the contribution you made to the channel. Appreciate your support to the channel in the super chat. Real quick, Lucky, I heard you talking in the background, but you know, you also spoke on Devin Haney's performance and the performances of all the fighters on the card. I mean, what's your take on everything, bro, now that you're here?
I mean, my take is I think the fight's still gonna happen. I mean, it's money involved. It's not emotions. It's money.
Between who? Ryan and Devin?
Yeah, between Ryan and Devin, the fight's still gonna happen. I mean, even though Ryan lost, both of them look bad. But they might still have like a fight before that fight, another tune-up. But they still gonna fight each other because there's money involved. It's one of the top fights in boxing right now, so they gonna do it.
What's going on, Lucky?
What's up, Mr. Greg?
Hey, good. I think Devin was gun shy, and I think he had adequate reason to be so. I don't think that was no plan to fight, working out a plan to fight Ryan next. I think Devin went into the ring, and whatever they did in training, I can't believe that Shane trained him to fight that way. I think Devin is still gun shy. I think they knew it. He's not prepared to get hit. Ryan got hit and realized he didn't want to get hit anymore. So both of them have a similar problem, in my opinion. Psychologically, they're not really ready to face the pain that comes with fighting somebody who can punch. I didn't see any reason for Devin to fight the way he did, other than psychologically he still ain't all there. Probably hasn't always been there in the first place, but that's one of the issues I see with today's fighters. A lot of today's fighters, anyway, that they want them. The payday was there, which is why everybody, and I said this on Two Cent Show, everybody's going over there because the money is being put in their pockets. They want to get the fight, and they want to get the money, which is understandable. But I don't think they're actually prepared for moments like this, like last night, where somebody's going to drop you. Ryan really wasn't. Devin wasn't even going to try to find out. And that's what I saw last night. If the fight does happen still, and I understand why it would still happen, I'm not certain that it would be the next fight for either one of them, because Ryan is crying and Devin didn't show. Devin looked like he was still done, even though he won. So it's just disappointing again. So I'm not hyped up, I guess, as a fight fan to see them right away. I really want to see why they should be fighting again now, because they acted like both of them act like they didn't really want to fight.
Yeah, I mean, I told Lucky this privately, and I'll say it again, and then I'll get to the super chat, and I'll let Dean and Dose back up. I think the promotion was off because I think for the public's sake, whether it be Turkey Al-Sheikh, whether it be Eddie Hearn, whether it be Oscar, whether it be any of the fighters involved, even Bill Haney, right? Any of them, they should have never let the public know that, hey, this fight between Devin Haney and Ramirez, this fight between Ryan Garcia versus Rolly is a prerequisite for them getting the rematch. I said months before this fight was announced, and Lucky's a witness of mine, and I'm sure Mr. Greg was probably listening in too, that they shouldn't need to fight anyone else except for each other in an immediate rematch.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And I said the same thing about Lamont Roach and Tank Davis. When you got so much controversy surrounding one fight, while the fans are anticipating, while the fans, casual included, because that's our demographic we want to always galvanize, while we got the fans on the high, when I mean high, I mean emotionally, I mean financially, keep the fans on the high. Don't bring the fans down off to the high to get to a low point of not expecting a rematch just to try to build the fan base back up to anticipate this fight as a rematch. It was too much controversy surrounding it, too much back and forth surrounding it. Right. This is the fight we wanted to see whether Devin Haney, right, can make those adjustments against Ryan. Right. This is the fight we wanted to see if Ryan Garcia's performance against Devin would be different based on him not having Ostarine in his system. They should have fought each other for us to get the pleasure of having the opportunity to come back and speak on it. But because Ryan Garcia lost and because of Devin Haney's performance, we don't know what's going to happen. So I agree with Dean on one end, and on the other end, I agree with Big Dose. And so you got to put both of those together because Ryan Garcia is the A side. He's the A side. I mean, it's very clear. Devin Haney is not. Devin Haney would have to do a lot more than Ryan Garcia to get the payday that Ryan gets. So all I'm saying is, instead of making it harder for Devin to go and be on his own to fight someone else, why not get him back in the ring to fight Ryan? Now, I already know that the Haneys themselves even admitted that they wanted to take a tune-up. The problem with that is, and I agree, when you get beat up or beat down that way, you should want to take a tune-up. But here's the issue with that. The issue with that is that the Haneys came out and said the only reason why Ryan Garcia won was because he had Ostarine in his system. Now, if they never had came out, if Bill and Devin never had came out and said that that was the only reason that Devin lost, then I can understand them saying, hey, I took a whooping, Let me go out and get a tune-up real quick and then fight Ryan Garcia in an immediate rematch after that. But because they kept saying the only reason he beat Devin, Osterine. So if that's the case, that means in the next fight, y'all should fight immediately. Because Ryan Garcia knows he'll get caught if he's intentionally cheating with Osterine in the next fight. And you'll just be able to dominate him completely. Because he won't have Osterine in the system.
Mm-hmm.
But because they came out and they didn't admit, really, that this has been an issue for Devin, defending the right and the left hand. Because I know people keep saying it's the left hand. But if you watch Devin Haney's fights, including the one on Friday night, Devin Haney leaves his left hand down a lot. His left hand. I'm talking about his left hand. Watch him fight and see how low he leaves that left hand. I'm talking about his hand that he lead with the jab because he's orthodox. So he's susceptible to get hit constantly with right hands. So it's a lot of work that he would have to improve on. Now, granted, they did go hire Sugar Shane Mosley, Sr. The point I'm making is I didn't see the improvements against a guy who didn't have Osterine in his system in Ramirez that we know of so far. So with that being said, it's a combination of both. Ryan Garcia lost and Devin Haney's performance was lackluster. And look, Ryan Garcia's performance was lackluster. All 6 of the fighters on this card, their performances were lackluster. This is one of the worst cards, and I'm only saying this as far as performance is concerned, that I've seen in a long, long time. Double salute to Many Face Publishing. Thank you for your support and contribution to the channel. Many Face Publishing says salute. Just supporting the live. Many Face, day one supporter. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you so much. We got my guy Paid in Full in the building. Paid in Full, what's your perspective on
what's going on, Paid?
What's going on? Salute to everybody on the channel.
What's your perspective on the fights on Friday night?
I pretty much saw it the same way. I think it was lackluster. Again, I felt like Tofimo, he could have pressed the gas a little bit more. I feel like he did a tremendous job of boxing, but I mean, you pretty much had the green light to get Barbosa out of there. I feel like you could have created a little bit more action. As far as Devin and Ramirez, I kind of felt like that fight was just I really didn't know what the fuck I was looking at, to be honest, because I feel like from the start of the bell, like Devin was moving a lot, and I'm like, I never really seen him fight like that. So I was like more so looking for him to not take too many risks, because I mean it is a comeback fight, but I mean he really ain't too much let his hands go, and Ramirez was pretty much like a wash fighter because I'm like, he wasn't really able to cut off the ring to make Devin fight. He was pretty much following him around the ring the entire fight. I'm like, damn, is anybody gonna create any action? It was just like none whatsoever. And as far as Ryan, I've been saying the same thing about Ryan. Like, if you're able to take away his hook, he pretty much, I don't feel like he has that much offense in his bag besides that left hook. And yeah, he got a little power in his right hand, but I don't see him use that majority of the time as much as he used the hook. So with Rolly, I think he was pretty much worried about something coming back, and I guess he became scared to let his hands go, because he wasn't even popping his jab. Even when he was hitting Rolly with the jab, he was having some success, but then he just completely stopped fighting. So yeah, I wasn't impressed by that card at all. But I still feel like they need to have. I still feel like it's still a lot of animosity between Ryan and Devin. They still need to have that fight. I feel like they don't need to fight nobody else but each other in their next fight. And
hey,
just
Marty.
Settle it.
I'm sorry. Hey, Marty.
Yes, sir. I'm here, Mr. Greg.
We were actually just before I think Dean and other gentlemen had to take a chill pill for a minute, asking why Eddie Hearn was at the fight. Who was Eddie Hearn representing at this fight on this card?
In my opinion, and this is my professional opinion, I believe that Eddie Hearn was representing Devin Haney after he fought Regis Prograis because there was a deal made for that to happen. I mean, let's put this in perspective, and now I can use that question as a teachable moment with my answer for all of you that's watching live and living color and the replay of this live. When a professional boxer, and this is standard all across boxing in general, when I say standard, I mean the language in professional boxing contracts. When a professional boxer signs with a professional boxing promoter, and that promoter gives them the opportunity to compete for a world title. It doesn't matter who the sanctioning body is. That's not important. For a world title and a regional title. So it's a combination of both, world title and a regional title. And that fighter who is being promoted by said promoter, if that fighter wins the actual title, automatically, this is the language in contracts. You're not going to find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad y'all here. The language in the contracts, standard all across boxing, states that if fighter wins a title while the promoter is promoting the fighter, the contract will automatically extend to 2 to 3 years. Minimum is 2, maximum is usually 3 years. That the promoter will then be obligated to promote fights for the fighter. There's a reason why that happens, and I'm going to tell you. It gives the fighter an opportunity to make guaranteed money by being signed with a promoter while defending the title, while at the same time, it gives the promoter to make their opportunity to be able to recoup on their initial investment and make a profit. The initial investment is the money that was put up for this fighter from the time the fighter signed with the promoter. Let me take it another step further. The promoter has to pay fees, right? Sanctioning fees for the fighter to compete for the title. So you know how the professional fighter who actually holds the title have to pay a 3% fee to the sanctioning body? The challenger must pay a 2% fee out of their purse to even challenge for the title. The promoter has to pay a percentage to the sanctioning body. These, and I'm talking about for the promoter though, this is before the actual championship bout even happens. There are other costs and fees associated that the promoter has to pay the sanctioning bodies, which include the executive director or president or CEO of that actual sanction body, and three of their chosen delegates. The promoter have to pay for their round trip airfare. The promoter has to pay for their food as far as their meals, and the promoter has to pay for their room and board. And that's on top of the percentage that the promoter has to pay, or some sanctioned bodies have a flat fee that the promoter has to pay. So with all of these expenses that the promoter has to incur before their champion or their challenger for the title have to compete, they have to incur expenses and pay for that. So that's one of the ways that they say, well, look, we got you to a world title under our tutelage, under our promotional banner. So now in order for us to recoup our initial investment and possibly make a profit off of that, now that you won the title, we can lock you in to a guaranteed contract for 2 to 3 years. Mainly the maximum is 3 years. I'll give you an example. When Terrence Crawford won the WBO title in the welterweight division, it's no different. It's the same. His contract automatically extended, just like all of the world champions. So I'm bringing that home to say that when Devin Haney beat Regis Prograis, Devin Haney was supposed to be a free agent. That's what we were told publicly. But he won the title and beat Regis Prograis at 140. And ever since he won the title, Eddie Hearn has been around him. Even at the press conference and the weigh-in for the Ryan Garcia fight. And even right now on Friday night and on Thursday night, which was the weigh-in, Eddie Hearn was there, and he was sitting next to Devin Haney at the last press conference. Now we got Big Dose back up here. He made a statement. Now I'm going to prove something. When I said that Eddie Hearn is around for a reason, and DHP Promotions had nothing to do with the promotion of this card. And I know Big Dope said that DHP did. Now, I didn't see DHP's logo on none of the advertisement flyers, but that doesn't mean anything because anybody can have an LLC. What I'm getting at is if all of you look at your screen now, I'm going to show it to you. Go on and look at your screen. Everybody that's watching live, go on and look at your screen. This is the event that took place on Friday night. You see the matchmaker's name, Eric Gomez, by the way, just so y'all know, he's an executive at Golden Boy Promotions. Most of you know who Kevin Rooney Jr. is. That's Kevin Rooney's son. But if you look under where it says promoter, I don't see where it says Devin, Bill, Haney, DHP, or nobody else. I don't even see Turkey Al-Sheikh's name. I told y'all 2 months ago that Turkey Al-Sheikh is not a promoter. He's the Eric Bischoff of boxing. All he's doing is using the PIF money and just funding the events. But that's neither here nor there. The promoters for this card was Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn. I just figured this from BoxRec. I didn't Photoshop this. This is from BoxRec. I want you to know I don't know how to do Photoshop. So I just want everybody to be clear. Eddie Hearn is not just being around for no reason at the press conference, the weigh-in, and the actual fight. I just want y'all to know that.
Absolutely.
Hey, Manager Marty, I just wanted to make a correction with what did you say his name was? Big Dose?
Big Dose is here. Yes, I'm about to read his super chat in a minute. But go ahead, Big Dose.
He said that he pulled up Fonseca. He actually didn't pull up Fonseca. He fought Fonseca at 130.
Who we talking about again so the fans won't lose us?
When he said that Tank Davis pulled up Fonseca, he didn't pull up Fonseca. Fonseca fought him at 130. Tank came in at 132, which is how he got stripped of his IBF title in that fight. So he didn't pull him up.
But also, Marty, if you remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Oscar at the press conference say when him and Bill was about to get into it, "You not even a promoter"?
He did say that. He said, "You don't know how to promote. You're not a promoter." Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, can I say something?
Yeah, Dean. Yes. Hey, before you say something, Dean. Yeah, hold on, Dean. Let me get the chop shop. He's here, Big Dose. I'm gonna get his super chat. I'm gonna let you comment, and then I'm gonna let Big Dose comment, which is the chop shop. But I want to say something to both of you guys. I didn't kick you off. I didn't kick you guys off of the channel. I just gave you two guys a breather, not because you guys were going back and forth. I love the banter. We're men. This is what we do. This is boxing. It is because when I hear people say, I'm talking on my platform, I can't control no one else's. But when I hear people say things that take it outside of the scope of the topic or boxing in general, and it start being to a point where guys on the panel start insulting each other and saying, say it to my face, I know what that means. Deem, I know you from Philly, and you know I'm from Philly, so we know what those words mean, and I want to make sure we just keep it, even if y'all go back and forth, I'm cool with it, we men. But I just want to make sure we just keep it on boxing and not take it outside of boxing like we're trying to promote violence and different things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? That's all. So with that being, because at the end of the day, I want to say this to all the people that's watching too. I'm with the controversy and the smoke, if you know me, especially when it comes to boxing. It's just really boxing when I'm talking about that, right? Well, if somebody threatened my life or whatever, I'm talking about boxing per se. And as a professional, I run my channel a little bit differently than the other content creators because I'm in the business of boxing. So I have people that watch my channel that they don't know too much about boxing. They just watching to support. And then I have people who sponsor the channel, right? To really, get some money to make sure the channel keep flowing. And some of them are attorneys. And I know certain things, can be said that other people, that sponsors, that's not a part of our culture as boxing fans, they don't understand certain languages. And I don't want nobody to get to the point where they can't freely express themselves on my channel, because guess what? Everybody's entitled to a perspective here. I open the panel up for everybody. But when I see it starting to take it past boxing, I got to make sure that we just keep it boxing. We have women in the chat, right? So I'm just trying to make sure. And listen, y'all can curse or whatever. Just don't say the N-word. Everybody know how I am about not using the N-word, but everything else is cool with me because we men, we talking boxing. Sometimes we can get hype and it's cool. But when it goes past that level of when I see you or say it to my face, and when it start getting like that, I just want to make sure everybody can digress a little bit, come back, and we can, stay on the topic. So I wasn't trying to play y'all guys and kick y'all off or not give y'all the proper opportunity to express yourself. I just want to make sure we all on the same page. And with that, double salute to my guy, the Chop Shop. He's here on the panel. He contributed to the channel, and I didn't forget him. And I appreciate the support, Chop Shop, while you're here, man. Thank you for the super chat. And the Chop Shop said in the super chat, salute to you, Marty, for letting a difference in opinion get on, bro. Much love. Salute to you too, brother. I appreciate you joining us. All right, Dean, the floor is yours. The floor is yours, big dog.
Nah, I'm glad that you said that. We spoke about men and integrity. This is what happens. Integrity is not lying and bringing up stuff that's just not true. Manager Marty, you met me before, right?
I couldn't hear your question, Dean. Say it again.
I said you met me before, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir.
So when we talk about integrity, you had Lucky McKenna up here mentioning me. Me and Lucky have never had an issue. Then he brings up another man from another channel that ain't nowhere that I be at. I was at the Gervonta Davis fight. I've been at all the Jaron Ennis fights. And when Champsaw came on your channel, he brought me up. Correct, Manager Marty? Did I bring him up?
No, Champsaw did, but I didn't hear Lucky say, I don't know where.
Nah, yeah, he courted at the end. He was throwing shots, and it's okay because when we talk about integrity, I wasn't even talking to Lucky McKenna. I didn't even know he was coming up here. So when you bring Champsaw up, Champsaw is not outside. He hasn't been in the Gervonta Davis fight, which I was at, both of the Jaron Ennis fight, which I was at, and I'll be at all of the next other popping fights. And if you think I'm lying, you can ask Manager Marty, Crown Jewel Boxing, Greg Hackett, YSL Media. I'm very accessible. So all that, we when we talk about integrity, let's talk about facts. And all I did was bring up when somebody says Gervonta always do something, always is a statement. He got 30-something fights and you can't give me more than 10 examples. That means he don't always do anything. Is that not true, Manager Marty? Since we talking about emotions and what's right or wrong, see, men got to have integrity about facts. So at the end of the day, when I sit up there and say, oh, that didn't happen, and you want to overtalk me, that's not integrity. That's not being a man. And I'm glad Paige came up here. Then the other example that the guy used, that wasn't even true. So I'm sorry, I'm cut a little different. You're not going to say stuff and then don't think that you're going to get said something back. I'm sorry, I'm not that guy. I'm not the turn the other cheek person type of guy. We men, stand on what you say. So if y'all feel any type way, y'all could DM me, email me, whatever. I'm very accessible. And if you think I'm not accessible, you can ask Manager Marty, who's seen me live and live in color. So I'm outside. That's all I really wanted to just make sure we put that out there, since we talking about men and integrity and truth and all of that. Because it only get out of pocket when people start lying and not telling the truth.
You want to do this one? I hear you, Dean. I hear you loud and clear.
You have every right to still be mad at me. I feel horrible.
You done now, Dean? I don't want to cut you off. You done now?
Now you go ahead, my guy.
Okay. All right. I made a mistake when I said who was it? No, it wasn't Nunez. It was Fonseca. I made a mistake when Balil Santa Cruz, the fight before he fought Tank Davis, did fight at 130. But every fight before that was at 126. That's what I mean by bringing people up. Just like he bought Lamont Roach up from 130 to 135. In these past few years, Tank has been the type of person that hasn't fought anybody that anybody really want to see except for Ryan Garcia and Frank Martin. Hector Luis Garcia, Rolando Romero, Mario Barrios, Yorick is Gamboa, Ricardo Nunes. Nobody wanted to see him fight them guys. But you got one guy that's been trying to fight the best for years now. Been calling Tank out when they both was at 135. Been calling.
You talking about Devin Haney, Big Dose?
Devin
Haney, to my understanding, after he fought Lomachenko at 135, he ran and moved up to 140. From what I
he after saying he's gonna stay at 135,
he was calling him out way before he fought Lomachenko.
But just because you call a person out don't mean
hey, Big Dose, he had a 3-fight deal. He couldn't fight Tank when he was calling him out. He had 2 fights with Kambosos. Remember the first fight with Kambosos? He was calling out Gervonta. The second fight, he said he didn't have a rematch and was calling Tank out then when Bob Arum came out. No, he has a rematch with George Kambosos, and he already had the fight set up with Lomachenko. That's facts.
Yeah.
So he was calling Tank out. He was calling Tank out, and then as soon as he got available, he left. Hold on, Big Dose. As soon as he got available, he said he was going to stay at 135. He didn't. He left and went in for Regis Prograve, and Eddie Hearn said they already had that in the works. That's what Eddie said. So he wasn't even. He was never. What I'm saying, Big Dose, he was never available to fight Gervonta Davis. The one time he was when he was about to fight Regis Prograve, but Eddie Hearn said they already had signed the contract. Remember, Tank was in jail. Tank got out of jail on a Friday. They announced him and Regis Prograve on Monday. That's facts, Big Dose.
That's facts. Yeah, but before that though, that's what I'm saying. Years before
he was already obligated. Big Dose is what we're saying. Before the Loma fight, he was obligated. He was obligated after the Loma fight. That's what we're saying. When the times he was calling Tank out, I'm not even sure if you knew this, and it's okay if you don't. He was already obligated to fight George Kambosos and Lomachenko. That's not me trying to fraud, make an excuse for Tank or none of that. This is stuff the promoters have said and put out there, not me. And then you see what he did. He actually fought those guys. So I don't know. I just think that
that's not the timeline I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about a few years before that. He was calling Tank out then. And
when Tank was at 130?
No, when Tank was moved up to 135.
When was this? Before George Camp? We said he was calling him out before George Kambosos?
Yes.
When he was fighting when he fought Gamboa?
So, because he was at Top Rank then.
He fought Gamboa right after Tank 40.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and then he got into a 3-fight deal. He didn't try to fight Gervonta. He didn't go try to make no fight with the PBC and Gervonta Davis. And then remember, he wanted to get undisputed. The only way he could have got it was Bob made him fight 3 fights. So I'm confused on that. Big Dose is what I'm saying. He don't get the Lomachenko fight if he don't fight George Kambosos twice.
Right.
He don't even get the belts.
I agree with you on
and
that.
He wouldn't even have got the belts. Tank got up there and beat Yurkis Gamboa. Devin fought him after that.
Who, Gamboa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying is, Big Dose, the times he was calling Tank out, he was not available to fight. We could prove it. It ain't even us just talking. We can prove this. Like, Manager Marty knows, he's just not saying nothing, but he know, like, he was contractually obligated. He could not fight Gervonta Davis, period.
So let me ask you this, Dave. When he fought, when Tank fought Gamboa, and then Devin fought Gamboa, how come Tank couldn't have fought Devin instead of Devin fighting Gamboa?
Because Tank won the belt and Tank had a mandatory after that. And then again, Devin already was obligated after the Gamboa fight. He was already knowing he was fighting George Kambosos, is what we trying to tell you.
No, I'm talking about before the Gamboa fight.
I know. I'm saying when he was fighting Gamboa, before that, because you got to understand, Big Dose, before a fight, you want to set up the contracts and all that. The same way Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford knew they had to fight Jerron Ennis if they won the fight. So a lot of boxers, a lot of the times, they know what they're doing next. The same way Manager Marty been telling y'all about this Tank and Lamont Roach thing. A lot of the times, they already know what they're doing next. And then the only way for him to get the goals Devin said he wanted, Devin got into a deal that he could not fight unless Bob Arum was going to say, go ahead and go fight Gervonta Davis. Bob hasn't done that yet.
And Big Dose, I want to ask you a question. What fights outside of Loma and Ryan did you want to see Devin in?
Outside of Loma and Ryan,
Yeah,
I wanted to see him fight Tank. I
but
mean,
I'm
when they
saying
was at,
outside,
I'm talking about when they was at close to the same weight. Not now. Of course, he too
right?
big.
But
He too big
my
for
thing
him
is
now.
this: he was contractually obligated to Top Rank at that time.
Yeah,
And Tank was
when
with
he had the
Mayweather
3 fight
Promotion,
deals. You talking about when he
huh?
had the 3 fight deal?
No, before that, did he go? Then he moved. He went from
He was with
Matchroom.
Eddie before that.
He went. Yeah, he moved from Matchroom back to Top Rank.
Right, when he had a 3 fight deal, right?
He had a
Right.
3 fight
But
deal with Eddie and them before that too, Big Dose. Before he got to George Gambos's and Loma, he was in a 3 fight deal with Eddie prior to that.
so what I'm
So,
saying is,
all right,
but if that fight was going to be made, it was going to be made under PBC.
Right.
I think
So
that could have been done. I just think
Yeah,
that could
but
have been
no,
done.
Big Dose. It could have been done if Bob and Eddie was willing to let it happen. But Big Dose, they haven't. Look what happened with Lomachenko. The one time Bob was like, "Okay, I'll let my fighter fight Tank." What Loma do?
Yeah, Loma ducked out.
So it's like,
He
and then
ducked him.
Big Dose, how you know it's true is because Bob Arum came out right now and said that he's willing to start trying to merge with PBC and all that. They wasn't thinking like that before. Remember, Big Dose, Bob Arum had an interview. They asked him, "What about setting up fights for Gervonta Davis?" He said, "Why do I have to do that when I got a bunch of fighters in my own stable that can fight each other?" That was Bob that said that.
Yeah, I remember that.
So nobody in boxing has more power than Bob Arum, for real, for real. He's been doing it the longest. He got the most fighters, and you know, Big Dose, if he don't want it to happen, look at Beterbiev and Bivol. Look how long it took.
If I can interject real quick with the super chat, I wanted to bring up, because everybody just brought up Tank Davis and Devin Haney. Real quick, if somebody can mute their phone, I hear a lot of feedback. Double salute to Mini Face Publishing again. He's coming back, spinning the block, busting the UE, as we say in Philly. U-turn, coming again, supporting the channel in the super chat. Double salute to him. Mini Face Publishing says, how you feel when they mention Conti and praise him? I think that's a question for me. I guess the question is, how do I feel when people mention Victor Conti and praise him? If that's the question for me, personally speaking, I don't care if people praise Victor Conti. I mean, that's their preference. My thing is, if you're going to praise Victor Conti, a guy who is not medically qualified to extract blood, nor is he medically qualified to interpret blood test results, nor is he medically qualified to provide anyone with a recommendation and or a diagnosis. If you're going to praise him, then why not at least clap? I don't need nobody to praise me. I'm not God. But at least give a a tiny clap when the manager, myself, who is certified, who is licensed in multiple states, give you the business of boxing that you won't find nowhere else on YouTube. Why insult me? Why disrespect me? And what I mean by that is when you look at guys like Michael Williams Sr., he disrespected me on YouTube. When you look at a person like a Rachel Donier, she disrespected me on YouTube. When you look at Victor Conti, he even disrespected me in my comments section on YouTube. When you look at, guys like Bill Haney, insulting me, calling me a manager at Walmart and Target, disrespecting me on YouTube. I mean, the list goes on and on. Rick Glaser, disrespecting me on YouTube. I mean, I can go on and on, even including boxing fans in my comments section in the live chat. But the point I'm making is those same people, oh, by the way, Timothy Bradley, he disrespected me on YouTube as well, and so did Floyd Schofield Sr. I mean, the list goes on and on. The point I'm making is if you're going to give praise to a guy like Victor Conti, who has a very shady past, who's been convicted of conspiracy to distribute illegal substances and was actually doing it since the late 80s. And when I say illegal substances, let me be clear, I'm not referring to cocaine or any of those drugs. I'm really talking about, because they're controlled substances, I'm really talking about performance enhancement drugs and steroids. I don't have a shady past in boxing. Victor Conti does. So I'm just saying, if you're going to praise somebody like that, then why not give credit where it's due? For me, I'm not asking for nobody to praise me or pat me on the back, but it would be so disheartening to see people criticize and insult me. I'm the most controversial, the most insulted, the most imitated, but the most knowledgeable content creator in the boxing community. That is no secret, nor it is an opinion. That's actually a fact. And so all I'm saying is if somebody gonna praise Victor, just 2 hand claps is good enough for me. And I'll tell you what else is good enough for me since I'm on this topic. Those content creators, and I won't mention their names just yet. I'm still deciding on whether I should do just a whole live and mention their names and bring up the evidence, or should I go back in the recording studio and drop a freestyle with their names in it? I'm still on the fence with that, Mr. Greg. But at the same time, since I'm on the topic now, my thing is, if you're going to steal my talking point as a content creator, or come over here first, get some of this knowledge that you ain't get from nowhere else, then go on your channel and then rehearse and then recite and recycle and repeat things that you've learned from me on my platform, at least when you come over here. Give me a super chat, man, or lady. Drop me a cash app real quick, man, because you're borrowing stuff without my permission. Go on and support the channel. I don't ask for much, so that's my answer to, that question. Now, with that being said, and I'm gonna point this audio out, then we're gonna move on to Ryan Garcia's performance or the lack thereof, and then Canelo, then I'll dismiss everybody. Devin Haney was asked about Tank Davis by Steve Kim. Everybody knows that Steve Kim is the reporter at the Snack program. He works with Victor Conti. We know that. You might not know him by name, but by face, you've seen him a lot on Jason Whitlock's platform, on his podcast. Steve Kim, who's very experienced with interviewing Devin Haney and Bill Haney and, the Snack fighters for Snack, because that's who cut him a check every now and then. I wanted to play something that he said at the press conference that Devin Haney was in, post-fight press conference with Devin Haney and Lomachenko, when Steve Kim asked Devin specifically about Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis and fighting those guys. And I just want to make sure that we're on the same page with what he said. I have the tape already queued up. And don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
Devin, congratulations. I have a question. Given everything you go through to make 135, which you've admitted, short of a fight against one of those names you mentioned, or Tank Davis or Shakur, if those fights are not possible, would you be more inclined just to move up to 140?
Yeah, if I can't get those fights next and or it doesn't make sense for it to be next, I'll probably go to 140, test it out, see how I feel at the weight at 140, and then when the time is right, then I'll defend my belt at 135. For DC though, I got to go back and talk with the team and see what makes the most sense. That's really all it boils down to. I'm very disciplined in the sport of boxing.
All right, we've heard enough. He said whatever fights make the most sense, and he got to go back to the drawing board. And, the fights that made the most sense at that time at 135 pounds after you just unified the belts was either Tank Davis or Shakur Stevenson. And if you look at when he fought Lomachenko, which to my understanding was in May, he fought him in May of 2023. And literally, in about a month or two later, Devin Haney's dad, Bill Haney, was sitting ringside at the Regis Prograis fight in an interview, claiming that he was watching to see how Regis Prograis looked. Basically seeing if he was going to perform at a certain level in order for Devin Haney to fight him next. And then, of course, in December of 2023, if my math serves me, and I could be wrong, it was 2024. Maybe my year is off. 2024, right? In December of 2024, the next fight we saw Devin Haney in after the Lomachenko fight wasn't Shakur Stevenson. It wasn't Tank Davis, who actually Tank Davis literally fought twice before Devin fought Lomachenko. In January, if y'all recall, in January of 2024, January of 2023, Tank Davis, he fought Hector Garcia. And then a few months after that, literally 90 days after that, he fought Ryan Garcia in April. And then the next month, Devin Haney fought Lomachenko. But the next fight we saw Devin Haney in, after he fought Lomachenko, to my understanding, and I want to make sure that I'm accurate on what I'm about to say, which I am, and it was 2023. He fought Regis Prograis. So if you look at May of 2023, he fights Lomachenko. So Tank Davis had just fought a month before that, Ryan Garcia. So they both was on the collision course, honestly, to kind of like fight each other. But after he fought Lomachenko in May of 2023, June, July, August, September, October, November, 7 months later, he fights Regis Prograis at 140. So what it sounds like to me is that Devin Haney did not have any intentions of fighting Tank Davis. I can't speak on the Shakur yet. I'm talking about Tank Davis in particular. They had no interest. They were calling out Tank Davis when they knew they had a 3-fight deal with Bob Arum in the first place, when they knew that fight was not going to take place. Just like we see Keyshawn Davis, he's running the same play. When he know he has fights coming up, he's calling out Tank Davis. He's about to fight De Los Santos. He's in interviews now still talking about Tank. He just fought in his last fight, he was talking about Tank. So all I'm saying is, if Devin Haney really wanted to unify those belts, and he did it with Lomachenko, then he could have defended those unified belts and fought Tank. But 7 months later, he didn't do that. He moved up. He said he had to talk back to the team and go back to the drawing board if that fight makes sense or not. Well, that's the biggest fight of your life, the biggest fight in your career. Why wouldn't Tank Davis fight make any sense? Business-wise, after a Lomachenko victory, they ran to 140 while still talking about being their own bosses, while still talking trash about Tank. That's the issue I have. That's the only issue I have with Devin moving up. Not that he just moved up, but you were asked specifically at the post-fight press conference after fighting Lomachenko, are you going to fight Shakur Stevenson or Tank Davis next, or are you going to move up? And all I can hear him saying is, well, if the fight don't happen and we can't, I'm going to go to the drawing board. Okay, I'm going to move up to 140. You talking way too much. It should be the next fight, because they said they're their own bosses, right? Okay, the next fight is Tank Davis. Now, somebody might criticize me and say, Marty, you hating on Devin. Okay, well, what about when I was asking Terrence Crawford to do the same thing in his hometown after he fought David Evanesian, when he was asked about Spence? When Spence was in his hometown after he fought Ugas, what did Spence say? My next fight, I want Terrence Crawford. And he said, I took Ugas' belt, and Terrence Crawford, I'm coming to take your SHIT next. He was more definitive. And when I hear fighters more definitive say, my next fight is this, what that means basically is, hey, I'm going against all odds. I don't care what the promoters say. I don't care what my manager say. I'm going to fight this person next. We've seen Errol Spence go against his own team to fight Terrence Crawford at that particular time because of how bad he wanted it, how bad he wanted to unify, because he believed in his heart that he can beat Bud Crawford. What I'm saying is that we've seen this time and time again. My guy, Danny Garcia, and I was at that fight in Philly, ringside. Danny Garcia was asked about his next fight, and Keith Thurman was doing commentating in my city at that time. He said, I want Keith Thurman next. Did the fight happen next? Absolutely. Keith Thurman jumped in the ring and everything. What I'm saying is we've seen this play time and time again, where when a fighter calls out another fighter next and the other fighter say years next, the fights usually happen. So Devin Haney moved up to 140. And yes, it's good to make history and legacy and all that's great, but it's all about timing. He should have fought Tank Davis with all that talking they was doing about Tank. or he should have fought Shakur next at 135. But apparently 7 months later, they went after Regis. A month after Devin beat Loma, Bill was at the fight with Regis. Why are you at Regis' Prograis fight analyzing and evaluating his performance when I thought y'all should have been talking to Al Heyman for Tank Davis? So I'm not going by words. I don't go by hearsay, y'all, and everybody at this point know that. I go by actions too with those words. And when I see your words don't match your actions as a professional boxer, you suspect. It's just very simple. There's no big deal about it. Double salute to Jab Queen Boxing. Thank you for showing love and support. That's what she said in the super chat. Thank you for your contribution and your support. She's also a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. Thank you, Ty. Appreciate you so very much. Then we got my guy, another member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew, Fort Greene Pharaoh. My guy. Peace, Manager Marty. How about that Rolly? Double salute to you, Fort Greene, for the support and contribution. Let's talk about that, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury. Let's talk about the performance of Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia. But before we do that, I got to make sure I put my guys on the screen for supporting the channel. Day one supporter, my guy, Big Rick in the building. Always showing love, not just in the super chat, but also in the comments section. Big Rick says in the super chat, I got you, player. Appreciate you, Rick. And then, of course, I got two of my other guys, and one of them is on the panel. I might as well get him out the way now. My guy, Mr. Greg. Mr. Greg says in the super chat, when you talk about boxing and matchups, you need to know or learn the boxing business and how it affects the fights getting made. That's very, very critical, Mr. Greg. Thank you for your support and contribution to the channel. And then I got my guy. He's a day one supporter of the channel, man. What more can I say about him? My guy, I love when I see him in the chat and on the panel. My guy, double salute to Aaron H. Muhammad in the building. Aaron says in the super chat, it should not take very long to admit and accept that much of what content creators have been putting out about boxing isn't factual based info. And you know, Aaron, I agree wholeheartedly with that. I know it's true. And with that, I got a couple people that want to get on. My man Dean still here? I think Dean is.
I wanted to add one more thing to that, Manager Marty.
Go ahead, speak on it.
When you mentioned right when they got out of the ring with Lomachenko, don't forget Shakur did jump in the ring to call Devin out.
And he ran, right? He left out immediately.
Yeah. And
okay.
I guess I quote unquote guess that Bill quote unquote said he sent Shakur 3 different offers, which wasn't confirmed by Bob, who would have actually put on the fight. He said the offers was never real, but that was another part of it as well. So I don't really think he wanted to stay at 135. I'm pretty sure that he was moving up from that time frame.
Yep, and I have no problem with him moving up, paid in full. It's just that the problem I have is don't fake the fans out. Don't lie to the fans.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't manipulate people in believing that it was a chance of the fight happening so that you can build your status, to basically get people to be galvanized to buy your fights. Don't do that. Just keep it 100. Look, we moving up to 140. We can't make the weight. Don't make people believe that y'all really had intentions. I mean, look, forget an offer that was sent. That Bill Haney can't send nobody no offer to how the man has a promoter, and guess what? And guess what? Bill Haney and them was going to have a promoter. They ain't sending no offer from no DHP. They don't put on fights from DHP. We all know that. So the point is, when Shakur Stevenson jumped in the ring, forget an offer that you claim you sent on paper. Shakur got in the ring, and when Devin Haney saw Shakur, and Shakur saying he next, Devin Haney got out the ring and didn't utter a word. Now somebody's going to say paid in full. Manager Marty, you hating on Devin, and this is what I'm going to say to them. Didn't when Lomachenko won his fight, didn't Devin Haney jump in the ring after Lomachenko fight and confront him?
Yeah, absolutely did.
Oh, okay then. So how am I hating when it was cool when Devin jumped in and confronted when we confronted Lomachenko before they fought? But yet when Shakur wanted to confront him, he left and ran.
Well, Manager Marty, I got a point on that though, Manager Marty, because before you even, I didn't even think about this. Well, if he went in there with Lomachenko and called him out, why he ain't do that with Gervonta Davis? It wasn't like he wasn't in attendance.
Was he there?
Yeah, he was there. Not this recent fight, but back. No, I'm talking about back when it went right after. It was either after the Loma fight or before the Loma fight. He was at Gervonta Davis fight, and I think it was after. Why he ain't jumping in the ring and try to fight Tank then?
It was at
it's not like because Manager Marty, it's not like if he would have approached the ring and told them he want to get in there and call them out. PBC about making money. This is viewership. Come on, Devin.
Thanks.
Hey, Dean, they probably hadn't found what promoter they was gonna run to yet.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mr. Greg. Okay.
That's probably why.
That makes a lot of sense, Mr. Greg.
That makes a lot of sense, Mr. Greg. You always the voice of reason.
Quick question, guys, and then I promise I'm gonna let y'all go. What happened to Ryan Garcia? I mean, Rolly Romero. I mean, the guy looked like RoboCop in there, and I told y'all Friday morning before the fight that his body, his physique, the man looked enhanced at the weigh-in, but he rehydrated and still kept all his muscle mass. I'm just trying to figure out what happened to Ryan Garcia. He got knocked down by Rolly and didn't even do anything after that. I'll start with you, Mr. Greg. What happened?
Fear gets you every time. Once I've seen that with Ryan, once he gets hurt, feels that certain kind of pain, you start to see him wilt a little bit. That's happened in a few of his fights that he's had. That's a psychological problem. Apparently, in the gym and in his previous fights, he's not being hurt. And I hate to say it, he's not being hurt enough to become acclimated that this is actually the hurt game. So when he got dropped, he got embarrassed. He probably was questioning himself, and you started to see it. Every once in a while, he tried to engage, but as soon as Rolly just grabbed him or tied him up or fought back, Ryan stopped. So the entire fight, I think Ryan had lost interest in engaging and really winning and showing the fans that he is that guy he claimed to be. He fell apart inside. And that's what I saw with him. And like I said, he lost and then he went to cry about it. So that's another issue that I've always had that issue with Ryan is how he operates psychologically. You can't be falling apart in this game. And after the fight, after the fight is over, as I said, they showed him in his trailer or whatever they call that little car or truck that he had. I mean, just completely falling apart. You lost the fight. But you have to understand why you lost the fight. It's your fault. It wasn't the guy you was fighting. The guy you was fighting, Rolly had nothing to lose, but he wanted to win. And whatever the degree of skills he had, he used, and he got the fight. He deserved to get that win, and I'm happy for him. And it was the only surprise in this entire fight card so far. And I always match it up with Devin, the way Devin fought. Devin came in not to get hurt either. So he didn't even risk getting hurt because he really wasn't prepared to fight either, in my opinion. And you have to find out where you are. So you were correct. And I think most fight fans believe the same thing. The next fight between the two of them should not have been the fights that they had. It should have been between each other. They need to know they needed to know where they stood. And none of them do now.
But another thing, Mr. Greg, I think a lot of Devin fans using that Ryan loss as a reason why Devin shouldn't have to fight him.
I think they still need to get that off their chest.
And Ryan still struggled with the same thing that I seen even when he got clipped with what's the dude name that clipped him the first time?
When he got dropped.
Yeah, when he came back and actually won, I forgot the dude's name.
Luke Campbell.
Luke Campbell. Yeah,
Luke Campbell.
When he got caught the first time, he was doing the same thing. When he go back, his hand, like his chin is way in the air. It's like he not even prepared. Like,
I'm gonna tell y'all what happened, y'all.
He reaches out to parry punches and gets tapped.
I'm sorry, y'all. He's trying to get out the way of the punches, but his chin is too exposed. So
Y'all, ain't nobody hitting it on the nail. What's actually happened this weekend and who fault it is. And I'm surprised at you gentlemen, because I love every last single one of you. I truly, truly do. Gervonta Davis is what happens. That is the reason. D1, no, I'm telling the truth now. Go down, as Manager Marty would say, we need answers. I got the answers. You want to hear them? Gervonta, everybody that was on that card attached themselves to Gervonta Davis, including Rolly Romero. Okay? Every last single one of those fighters, besides the ones we don't care about, the Barbosas and Romero. Not that we don't care about them, but y'all understand what I'm saying.
Right.
All right. And the way them trying to be Gervonta Davis, trying to get in his stratosphere, none of them have trained the way they should. None of them have fought the way they should. None of them have had the right mentality the way they should, including Shakur Stevenson. Because what Shakur Stevenson come out here and say? Hey, yo, I promise in July, my fight gonna be way better than all of them. Shakur, you can't promise that to nobody. But you know why? Why would Shakur want to say that? Why is people so disappointed in the entertainment factor? You want to know why? Because people like David Benavidez, Terrence Crawford, and Gervonta Davis exist. Abdullah Mason and D1 and Manager Marty and Mr. Greg, please hear me. What happened this weekend, and including with T.O. and all of these guys, is they tried to be something they weren't, and that messed their mentality up, and it has seeped in like a virus in a computer to everything else in their life. How they promote themselves, how they train, who they have around them, what fights they willing to take, what money they willing to take, D1, because everybody is trying to throw rocks at the sun, but they can't reach it.
Facts, bro. You guys see the Shannon Cannon Briggs video that surfaced on Fight Hype? I think he did a live stream and he talked about all the fighters. They're not really fighters. These kids they are not about that. They got up there on the stage and went up there and laid an egg because they don't really got it in their hearts to be fighters. They're not fighters, man. Yeah. Out here bullshitting. Straight up.
Here trying to get those paydays that are being made available to them. So that's the other thing. If the money is being thrown at them, your manager is supposed to get that money for you. That's his job.
But Mr. Greg, where they messed up at, and what I was trying to tell this young fella earlier, is that you can go about that way. Manager Marty said it earlier. That has a time limit on it, though.
Right.
Do you think Turkey, all Devin fans and Shakur fans and people who want to defend this type of stuff, right? I got one question for you. Do you think Turkey is happy today?
I'm sure he's sad as I don't know what. I'm sure
in the discussion.
I'm sure he want to get out the game.
Mr. Greg, if the guy that's giving you the money is not happy with your performance, you can't criticize nobody else for talking bad about your fight.
That's right.
Turkey, because remember, Mr. Greg, Turkey is their excuse to not fight everybody else. Well, make it happen with Turkey. The smartest person today looks like Gervonta Davis. Because, and Mr. Greg, I'm glad I got you, Mr. Greg. Can I ask you something, Mr. Greg? I'm sorry I got to do this to you, Mr. Greg. You know I love you, right?
It's all right.
How you feel about Terrence Crawford holding Turkey hand?
Yo, chill, Dean. You supposed to stay on your channel,
Dean. Manager Marty. No. Mr. Greg, how do you feel about a 38-year-old grown man with 8 kids and a wife holding Turkey hand?
I was hoping nobody saw that.
Shit, I made a short on it.
I was hoping nobody saw that because I asked myself, what the are you doing? I mean, do you understand how that looks? But, you know.
For me, it raises the question, if you're holding this man's hand live on TV, you got a price for anything. Like anything. Real
D1,
shit.
D1, do you got a wife, D1?
Yes, I've been married for 26 years, bro.
Now, D1, when you crossing the street with your wife, what's the first thing you do?
Bro, if you're willing to do that shit on TV, bro, there's no telling what you'll sell. Real shit, bro.
My God.
Can I ask y'all fellas a question? What would y'all do if y'all seen y'all son holding a grown man hand? If that was how would you feel if that was your son holding that man's hand as a black man? That's not Muslim. I don't think Terrence Crawford is Muslim. So miss me with it's the Islamic respect thing. I'm from Philadelphia, homie, where 70% of the population here is Islamic.
Right.
Manager Marty will tell you I'm not lying. Everybody's name is Farad, Shahid, something. Okay, look, my name is Deem. I don't want to tell you my real name, but it's a Muslim name. Okay,
right.
I don't want to hear that aspect, and Mr. Greg is Muslim himself, so I don't want to hear that part. Mr. Greg, do you hold other men here?
I'm not Muslim.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Greg. Sorry, Mr. Greg.
No problem. I studied, but anyway, that's another story. But if
I don't see them holding people's hands on 52nd Street.
No, if I saw I don't have any children, but if my son is seen holding another man's hand, it better either be mine or his brother.
Better be God's hand. Bro.
Simple as that, Mr. Greg.
We ain't doing that.
Yo, let me get this super chat real quick, and let me see. Somebody else trying to get on? Oh no, everybody here. Double salute to my guy, Victor. My guy, always supporting the channel. Double salute. Thank you for your contribution and your support. Victor says, if you want the tank fight, move in that direction, not further away. They don't want that tank smoke. He's referring to Devin Haney, based on what was said on the panel by the Chop Shop, aka Big Dose, because he said that Devin Haney's been calling out, Tank Davis for years and all of this, but they kept moving away from the Tank Davis fight, even after fighting Lomachenko. And with that, I mean, I wasn't going to speak on that holding hands part because I know I talked to Dean privately, and I know he was going to speak on it on his platform. And so once he told me he was going to speak on it, I didn't want to bring it here. But since Dean brought it up, hey, Bud! Hey, Bud! I just try to figure out what is he holding that man's hand for?
My God. I was hoping nobody saw.
Earl Spence would never.
I'm gonna keep it 100. When I first saw it, I was like, this reminds me of Miguel Cotto kissing his son in the mouth during the ring walk to Mayweather fight. I don't know if y'all remember that.
I do. I do remember that.
And when I saw that, now it wasn't that his son was a newborn baby. You can probably get it. I haven't done it with two of my sons, but some fathers, especially in the culture of the Puerto Rican culture, I don't know their culture like that. So that might be something that they do culturally speaking. But I know for a black man, we ain't holding another man's hand.
I'm sorry, man.
In the middle of no boxing ring, we ain't doing that.
No, you can add white man to that too.
Now, if white man too. Now, listen. If he was holding Turkey's hand by just shaking his hand, even if it was for 30 seconds while he was staring in his eyes, I would still feel the same way.
No, it wasn't that.
You hugged me too long, and I'm gonna feel a certain kind of way about you.
No, for
here's
real.
The thing
for
about
real,
the
Mr.
holding
Greg.
hands part, Dean. Here's the thing about the holding hands part. He was holding Terrence Crawford's hand with one hand and holding the microphone in the other.
Oh,
that
Lord.
part right there alone was like,
it was awkward. What you doing?
What?
That was.
But Manager Marty, the part we ain't talking about is he grabbed Bud's hand the way you grab your girl hand when they in danger. If we hey, hold on, baby, your car coming. That's how he grabbed that man's. Listen here.
Come here.
If my father or my grandfather or my stepdad, rest in peace to all three of those great men that raised me, they would be rolling over in a grave. Hey, Mr. Greg, my dad from DC. I'm gonna just tell you something. My grandpa, he from South Carolina, and they lived in DC for a long period of time before relocating to Philadelphia when my dad was 5. My dad would be 60 something right now. So that lets you know how long we've been entrenched over here. Let me tell you something. If my grandfather saw me holding another man's hand,
that's it.
They
didn't even like earrings, Mr. Greg.
Right, bro. My father didn't either. And I was talking about holding hand as a little boy. Grown man, no, period. even if it's my brother or father.
Or son. I ain't held one of my parents besides my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just Terrence Bud, you got some explaining to do, like Manager Marty said. Hey, yo, Bud, listen here. And then Mr. Greg, my biggest problem is the force that Turkey grabs it with. Like he grabs it like how you grab your woman's hand.
Right. Come here.
Come here, girl.
On, give me that hand.
You hear me?
I'm
just saying, in front of millions. To me, oh yeah, can I say this too? And Turkey, don't you ever have a fake Tupac walking across as a ring girl in front of Black Americans' face as if I don't know that you are cross playing my guy. Let me tell y'all something about Arab people, that a lot of them aren't against Black people. I know a lot that are cool.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you something about their heritage. They just as racist as anybody else. So listen here, if you don't think that they chuckled about that, you are a fool. That was a slap in the face. That was cross-playing right there in front of our very eyes. That's like, Turkey, what you gonna do next? Bring chicken and watermelon to the fight?
For real, but
and grape soda?
It's like saying, like, bro, my money can buy anything. Give me your hand, and let's humiliate you in public and show everybody that's got any sort of little bit of sense. Tell them what money can do with this guy right here. I got his hand. He's one of the toughest men on the planet, and I'm holding his fucking hand live on TV.
That's the kind of compromise that a lot of guys be doing when they get to a certain level. I'm sorry to say this because I've been in entertainment and things of this nature. A lot of guys who you don't know, who you wouldn't even think, don't compromise themselves in that direction to get the kind of monies or get the prestige or the job that they want. A whole lot, and not just in celebrities, in corporate America as well,
in the military, and in every aspect of life.
None of them is the same kind of man.
Hey, Mr. Greg, can I ask you something too while you over here?
Me.
Sure.
No way.
Now maybe I'm getting older, and I might start getting cataracts. Okay. Now I just observed something, Mr. Greg. Okay. Damn, Bud Crawford looked bigger than Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo just finished fighting.
Yeah, bro.
Well, he's taller than Canelo.
No, I ain't talking about just height-wise, Mr. Greg.
Yes, he's bulking up. He's been bulking up since they started talking about the fight. So I've been seeing that. He's been bulking up. I hope he's swimming.
Mr. Greg, from 147 to 168 in 2 years?
Fucking crazy. The good folks at that nutritional supplement distributing company, them guys got him right.
D1, please answer. D1, 147
it's
to
bizarre,
168 in 2 calendar years.
Bizarre. It's crazy work, bro. And people just turn a blind eye because they love their favorite fighter so much to the bullshit that's going on with this little troll. Thank God for Marty, literally putting this shit out and trying to get people to pay attention to what the fuck is going on over there, because it's ridiculous, man.
D1, I'm just suspicious,
throwing
brother.
Rocks and shit. Oh, I'm suspicious as they get.
Did you see Bud's shoulders?
Huge, bro. I just made a video today about it. I think Bud's probably gonna beat him up, bro.
Man, listen here. Like I'm just certain things that I see.
It's crazy.
And I gotta say this, and I gotta address Bud Crawford on one more thing, y'all, because we are here in the building, the Manager Marty's platform, and I'm sorry to all my Bud fans. I gotta do this. Bud, don't you ever speak on the Black community and what's the difference between us and Mexicans. Bud, Mexicans don't buy your fight. Bud, you're not big amongst the Mexican fan base, Bud Crawford, and you about to find out when you about to fight Canelo Alvarez. You gonna find out exactly how they feel about you, my God. Bud Crawford, who supports you? In Omaha, Nebraska, all those little kids that was cheering your name, was any of them Mexican? The people that made you popular, Errol Spence, Bud Crawford, the biggest fight of your life, who was that big amongst? What are you talking about, sir? We don't stick together. We the only people without the Black community, boxing don't exist. What are you talking about? You owe everything to the Black. What are you talking about? Without the Black community, boxing don't exist. That's just a fact.
That's facts.
Well, you've heard me say many times, and I'm a Bud's fan, but he needs to not talk.
Mr. Greg, how many Mexicans live in Omaha?
I want to get these super chats, but real quick, this is the biggest problem I had with Turkey holding hands with Bud. Yes, I agree. It is a public display that this is what money can buy. I am in control. This is Turkey I'm talking about. But the thing that disturbed me the most about that whole holding hands, Terrence Crawford's fingers was curled. That's all I'm saying, Mr. Greg. His fingers was curled. That bothered me.
Ranger Marty, you out of pocket. You
out of pocket, his fingers, bro.
I was hoping nobody saw it.
I was on my live stream.
My God, Lifeline Music TV, man. Appreciate the super chat and the super sticker. Thank you, Lifeline Music TV. Day one supporter. Appreciate your contribution. Then we got my guy. Always supporting the channel. My main man, Pots and Pan, day one supporter, DC Jeroy. Thank you, DC Jeroy, in the super chat. DC Jeroy says, came to grab me a small plate real quick, Brother Marty. Here's a little something on that grocery bill. And DC Jeroy, I have to give him credit when he's here. He's the one that started the whole grocery bill movement with giving super chats. Thank you again, DC Jeroy, my guy. And double salute. And I cannot call her by her first name only. I have to give her credit because my mama raised me a certain way. So Miss Barbara D, thank you. She's a member of the channel, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew. Thank you, Miss Barbara D, for the super sticker and your contributions to the channel. Real quick, guys, can I get y'all 30
Barbara
seconds?
D in real life. She's a sweetheart.
Oh, yeah. Love Miss Barbara D. Can I get y'all 30 seconds? Huh?
D1, you in here in DC?
No, I was at the tank fight.
Okay.
To the JVT meet and greet. Great time.
Real quick, y'all. 30 seconds. What should happen for Ryan Garcia after his performance? And what should happen with Devin Haney next after his performance? Deem, I'll let you go first, and then Mr. Greg, and then D1.
Retire. If they not going to take it serious, retire. Ryan Garcia showed me last night it's not about skills. The other night, it's not about skills and all that. He's not dedicated. Devin Haney showed me last night he's too worried about what people say and he got his dad in his ear too much, which is going to destroy him. So it's either you retire now or retire in a couple years when a fighter makes you retire. Because they're going to get exposed. And I'm going to just end it with this. And I remember, Devin Haney fans, it's funny how y'all call out him calling out people. Dean, he been calling out Tank for years. Devin call out the best. Y'all know who else Devin and Bill called out? Y'all want to know who else they called out? Jerron Boots Ennis, go fight him. Y'all have a good night, okay, Manager Marty? Go fight Jerron Ennis. I'm just saying he got a mandatory that he don't really want. Hopefully they can work that out because it's Rolly Romero because of Ryan Garcia. And since y'all called out Jerron Ennis, since Devin fans like to say who he calls out, then fight Jerron Ennis. Then hey, I'm pretty sure Jerron Ennis will love that payday. I mean, y'all with Eddie, right, Manager Marty? I'll holla at y'all.
Peace, Dean.
All right, Dean.
Be good.
Mr. Greg, is on you. 30 seconds. What should happen to Ryan Garcia next after his performance? What should happen to Devin Haney next after his performance?
Well, I'm sort of along the lines of Dean. Both of them need to see a therapist to ask themselves, what do they want to do in this sport of boxing? Because they're going to mess around and get hurt. Ryan gets hurt and wilts. Devin avoids it. But you're in the same kind of sport where you have to prove yourself physically, and they're not willing to do it because psychologically they don't all seem to be there. That's the bottom line. So I think they need to both take this moment and decide who I want to be. Do I want to be a fighter? And am I actually going to pay the price to be a fighter and go all the way with it? If not, just get out of the game. Save yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of pain. But if they do decide to fight, just fight each other. And that's where I think they should be. That's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Greg. We jumping on here live in living color. Y'all know how we doing. 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We back on here live in living color. And we got my guy,
I know where
D1. D1, I'm going to let you
Ryan.
close out the show, man. I'm glad that you came up. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for
and
having
let
me,
me give
bro.
you a quick plug. Please, y'all. This is my guy right here, D1. Go on his channel, go on his platform. You know, please subscribe to his channel if you haven't done so. I love the content. Appreciate his support. He's also a member of the channel and supervisor of the Road to Tape film crew. D1, I'm going to give you, you know, your final words. Please make sure in your final words, if you can't remember, give the people your location or as far as on YouTube where they can come and check you out, subscribe to the channel, and support you, my brother. 30 seconds is on you. What do you think should happen next for Ryan Garcia after his performance? What do you think should happen next for Devin Haney after his performance? And you can close it out. It's on you.
Ryan Garcia needs to go get with a real boxing trainer, somebody like Shannon Briggs or somebody like Bozy Ennis. Get down in the trenches and find out what being a fucking fighter is all about. Stop being scary. And Devin Haney needs to go to trauma counseling. That kid is scary as a bitch. All that moving around the ring is not boxing. That is the furthest thing from it. He needs to go get trauma counseling and learn how to box. Appreciate you for having me, Marty. Y'all can subscribe to my channel, The Angry White Man. I'm on YouTube. I got content dropping every day, shorts uploading about 10 times a day. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you, man. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings to my guy, D1. Double salute again to my guy, Spent the Block, closing the show out as the air fryer was on 500 degrees. This was one of the best shows we've all done. Panel full of live encounters. The chat was on point. All the ladies were here today. This was a really great show. Double salute again to my guy, Fort Greene Pharaoh. In the super chat says, Manager Marty told y'all snack work, period. Snack works, period. It works. Now, I know people are going to say it didn't perform up to its level, the snack, because of the performance of Devin Haney and, of course, the performance of Arnold Barbosa Jr., who both were snack fighters representing the snack program, and Victor Conti. But at the end of the day, just because you're on snack doesn't mean you're going to win. But there's other benefits, such as punch resistance, such as you can't and won't ever get tired within 12 rounds. More power. It's so many different things that's, I'm going to leave that alone. Maybe tomorrow morning we can talk about it. Join me live in living color tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock a.m. morning for those of us here in America, Eastern Standard Time, and to all of you in other countries, of course, it will be at night, but 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to seeing all of you here live in living color. We're coming back again. You know what? I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it.